Classic Marchese Maxer here just instantly joins. I think that's I think that's the fastest time somebody has joined.
Honestly, I was chomping at the bit to get in so that I could say Christ is Lord and God bless you and have a good space, and I'm about to take off.
Oh, okay. All right. Much appreciated, my friend. Christ is
Yeah,
Lord. God
I'll
bless.
thank you. I'll be landed in about an hour and a half, so I'll try to log back in and see how it goes.
All righty, my friend. Yeah, we might still be on, so we'll be
Very
here
cool.
for you.
All
All
right,
righty. Take
later,
care.
guys.
What up, Marchese?
What's up, my friend? My OG co-host. We're doing a little bit of a political one here, talking about Iran and all of that. It seems to be the precipice topic that, ironically, in typical Zogbot fashion, everyone kind of ignored it up until this big escalation where the negotiations were falling apart, and they're falling apart specifically by the deadline. And now, given the deals and all of that, Israel does have license to attack Iran now. So the big question is, if Israel attacks Iran strongly enough, which it probably will because of its hubris, because of its arrogance, it'll do so in such a way that it forces Iran to fire back, and fire back in such a devastating enough way that the United States is getting dragged in. And then once the United States gets dragged in, now Iran needs backup from Iran's allies, which are China and Russia. And now you have United States and Russia directly conflicting. So this is a big point. However, the nothing ever happens chud keeps fucking winning, man, because if you remember quite a few months ago, weeks ago, the most incendiary thing like ever was done by Israel, and that was attacking the Iranian embassy in Syria. And attacking embassies has always been like a huge no-go, but in typical Israeli fashion, they did so out of hubris so they could attack in such an offensive way that it would force Iran to respond strong enough that it prompts the United States to get involved. So this is big, but at the same time, Iran didn't do that. That didn't start the war. So nothing ever happens, Chud fucking won on that one. But I think whether it happens now or it happens later on, like this is a real problem, especially because the negotiations are just non-negotiable. If you've been following, the starting point program. But Iran, of course, says fuck that. Not only fuck that they want a civilian nuclear program for energy and all that, but they want to have the nuclear capacity such that if they are attacked, specifically by Israel, they want to have the capacity to build a bomb in about 2 weeks, whatever it is. And that's been the meme for the past 30 years. The past 30 years, the meme has been Israel and their shitty intelligence has been saying, Iran's 2 weeks from a bomb. Iran's 2 weeks from a bomb. That's what they did with Iraq. That was the weapons of mass destruction meme. And they do so because they want to goad the United States into toppling those regimes, those like fascist, whatever regimes, those authoritarian right regimes, those nationalist regimes, so that they wield more power in the region. If Israel is the only nuclear power in the region, like they just win. They just have everything because the game since the 1940s, 1945 has been if you nuclearize, you're at the level of everybody else and you have mutually assured destruction. So it's a huge deterrent that Israel doesn't want the rest of the region to have, and they've successfully goaded the United States into toppling the Iranian regime for that, the Syrian regime for that, any regime that even catches the slightest whiff of potential nuclearization in the future. So all that's to say, if it doesn't happen now, nothing ever happens. Chud wins again. But certainly, given that there is not a starting point for the negotiations really at all, and that Israel took the opportunity to wage war in the Middle East against their adversaries, it follows that there's, you know, this war is very imminent, and maybe it is a Jewish psyop actually on the other end to get us all freaking out about it or something. But this has been a very tricky thing for the past year, and this has really been the history of Israel for the past since its inception. So, War Torn, you go ahead.
Okay, honestly, I'm always joking about me being in charge because these people are extremely stupid.
Yeah,
So they bring in like people that aren't white to countries like USA, but the people that are let's say brown, they don't want to fight in wars, so they get rid of the white people that would fight in wars.
right.
And yeah, and then let's say they go to war, who's gonna fight it? Nobody's gonna go. They're gonna change their propaganda so it's only white people that join, but they're not gonna join anymore because like the boomers are gonna die out eventually, and the Gen Z, they are super anti-Israel.
Yeah, and Israel is its worst enemy. So and this is an important layer to the psyop. So October 7th happened, and what did that prompt? That activated the left in a unique way. And you might think, well, wait a minute. How does that activate the left? Because the left is all about victim hierarchies, and Jews are obviously at the highest point of the victim hierarchy. So it was strange that that activated the left. But the reason it activated the left is because so much of the propaganda about we're all the same race and blah, 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 and whitey this and whitey that, the way that that propaganda lended a victim status to Jews, but didn't clearly identify who Jews were, right? Because ask your everyday normie, they're always confused. They're always asking me, are they a religion or are they a people? And the answer, of course, is both. And we all understand that. But leftards didn't even really understand that. For them, it was just whoever claimed they were Jewish just got victim status in any capacity. But when it comes to a sort of their ethnic consciousness, they really only can just sort of categorize Jewish people and Israel as white country, a white dominance, right? That's always been the history is Jews look like they're white. So that activated the left because it really posited for them the classic dilemma of, the brown underclass, the Palestinians are the brown underclass, and they're struggling, and the Israel is the white oppressive nation nearby. And so that activated the left. And what followed then is what is the left and what pushes the left. What pushes the left is left-wing Jews. There's a dichotomy where there's left-wing Jews and there's right-wing Jews. And a lot of conservatards try to take advantage of that fact to say, oh, so they're not a monolith, but they are, and this will explain why and how shortly. So what this did on October 7th is it made left-wing Jews conscious of all of their stuff about anti-whiteism, anti-race, right? Everyone's the same race and blah, 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 all that stuff. It was a part of their strategy for being able to blend in and be sort of across the world. That's a part of their survivalist strategy. That's been their history because that's just been the nature of their existence. They've been a diaspora people. So their belief system is to survive, is to make it sort of not noticeable or not recognizable that they're Jewish. Right-wing Jews, their strategy is, well, no, we need our own Jewish nation, we need our own Jewish people, and we need it all together and nuclearized and so forth. And so there's this factionalism, but those left-wing Jews quickly realized after October 7th, their strategy backfired because now it just turned all the brown people in against Jews insofar as they lump Jews and white people together. They're both oppressive, colonizer, big fat meanies. So post October 7th, massive change happened. And that change was that they quickly banded together because now they have a collective interest. They've been sort of like arguing family members. They have one strategy versus another, but ultimately their loyalties lie together and they are a collective. They operate as a collective and they put their group interests above that of all other interests. And so what came with that is that powerful left-wing and right-wing Jews banded together to now reconcile the brown anti-Jewishness by activating the good little fucking goy, the white good little goy, against the brown people. Hence, you have the quote unquote Overton window shifting such that white people now are allowed to say the N word and say, oh, black people this and crime that and Hispanics this, and are now allowed to be anti immigration and anti Hispanic and so on and so forth. And so this collectivization has activated them as a part of their Jewish interest, and that is regional hegemony. For Israel, the left-wing Jews sort of recognized their strategy wasn't working, and so they just squashed that sort of familial beef, and they brought forth mobilized the white people against the brown people. And you have the conservatards going hard on sticking up for Israel in this conflict. And then you still have, though, the left wing, that the non-Jewish element of the left wing still anti-Israel, because now they see it as a struggle of brown people against white people. So this problem further has been the entire history of Israel. It's always been about regional hegemony, regional dominance. You guys might have seen the Greater Israel Project badges that their military wears. And the big shtick, the big deal, I forgot what point I was bringing that to, but the big shtick, the big deal is that ultimately they're going to use the United States to do this. And the way that they do that is they hold the institutions of power. They fund the politicians, they weaponize the media. And people really struggle with this. Whitey McWhitersmith really struggles with this idea that they collectivize and they put together a collective interest. But you have to deeply understand that. And even when you think about, oh, it's not your everyday Jew, they're not in all the, not all of them are in the group chats. You have to understand that there is a deep racial collectivism and a racial consciousness amongst them that makes it so that when they're in the seats of power, that's what I was going to say. When they're in the seats of power in the United States, such as in the media, funding the politicians and all of that, that racial collectivism makes them weaponize that power to advance their interests. And sometimes the interests, I guess, are aligned, but other times those interests aren't. But they don't care because they're Jewish first, basically. There's America first and there's Jewish first. And so now what you have is, given they occupy those positions of power, they are going to weaponize the United States in a war on their behalf, partly because they can't win against Iran on their own, but partly because of just sort of this arrogance of, they're going to get other people to fight their wars for them because they don't want to fight them. They don't want their guys to die. They don't want to use their resources. They just want to use somebody else's resources and then waltz right on in thereafter. So, this is big stuff. I put Fuentes in the title here. He's a polarizing figure, I suppose, but, he predicted a lot of this stuff from the start. So it is important to reconcile that. And if you've been following him or been following this all along, it's pretty clear that this is how world wars begin, right? You think about World War I, World War II, it's quite a domino string of effects. So, Wartime, I heard you for a second there, so if you want to chime in, by all means.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. It's gonna backfire again because, how do I explain this? Gen Z actually does have collectivism, unlike the other whites, because I guess you could say through memetics, through memes, they are able to transfer information quickly, and they have more camaraderie than the ones before them. The Jewish people think that they can control things, but they don't really understand what's happening. They think things are the same as they were before because they believe the media is the same as it is before, but the internet is it evolves extremely fast, and they aren't able to control it. Even more so with the artificial intelligence that is pushing out people, pushing out ideas way too fast for them to understand what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for reminding me of that. You bring up a good point. Yeah, so the culminating battle here now actually is that you make the meme or pro-Israelites make the memes of like what do they have like weather balloons or something like that. We make the jokes about that. They kind of almost do, and I'll get into those in a funny way, but those are like those articles that say actually you should like eat chocolate. Chocolate's at the top of the food pyramid. I saw that once actually, unironically, by the way. And so but one thing they couldn't have handled is the internet and the ubiquity of the internet and the direct communication. And this sort of converges on two things. Either like retards converge on whatever gay little world that they converge on, or there's people who converge on the truth. And the truth is, this is all just in your face that Israel and Jews collectivize and they wield power in the United States and they weaponize it to their own interests above our interests. And Gen Z picked up on it, to your point, because Gen Z is communicating back and forth. They're disgruntled. They're not retarded fucking programmed like boomers. And they can't control the internet. Like they tried. They did a really good job of censorship and everything, but you just ultimately, to your point, you can never win that over. And like the white pill is, there's psyops floating around all the time, but the white pill is indeed that many, many people are picking up on this at this point. I think one of the biggest ones was, and this will be my last part. There's this guy Kenny Ko. He's like a lifting bro on Instagram. I saw a post like a week or two ago that somebody was like, incredible things are happening on Instagram. This guy, he never says anything on politics, and he doesn't even drop the did you know that AIPAC gives, we give $6 billion a year to Israel? He didn't even drop that. He just instantly went into like, more like 271,000, and he instantly just dropped an H speech translated to English. So it is like moving very, very fast, and there's going to be some kind of culminating element to it. So, Wartorn, you go ahead, and then we'll have Milad here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I always speak about this, but the one thing that they can't control always is going to be the algorithm. They're going to try to manipulate it as much as they can, but because of the way that it works by, virality, they
Uh-huh.
can't really control it. So like the schedule digest by the algorithm, it gives you what you want, you know? So like people that like cats, they view cats. People that like cars view cars. It gives you what you want. A lot of people are retarded in this world because it gives them like dumb shit, like, like normie crap. But the people that actually do want to know, they actually get the information that they actually want. So like they get more and more extreme. Like the people that like cats, obviously they're just going to get cat videos by the algorithm.
Right.
But the smart people, the actual smart people, they're going to get the actual information even if the Jews try to like hide it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Milad, you go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I want to know your opinion from the scale of 1 to 10, how imminent is Israeli strike in Iran, since I literally live in Iran. How is it, how is it possible? Is it going to happen in the near future? In your opinion?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And the answer is they're going to have to do it quickly because they do have to manage public perception and public image and world support and everything. And, they've been dragging this Gaza stuff on for long enough now that the clock's running out for them to have kind of like the Cassius Belli to attack Iran. Their excuse now is, well, they fund our enemies and blah, blah, blah. And this all stems from them and their ideology. Whatever their excuse is, they still have it right now, but it's dwindling pretty fast. So they're going to have to get pretty aggressive relatively soon. If you wanted just like a estimate number, like, I don't know, maybe in the next month or so, they're going to launch. I think they actually specified that they're going to launch a huge attack in the middle of the year. So that would be my estimate. I'm not really too concerned whether or not I get that right. A lot of people get crazy about that, but good question. We have the Syrian Patriot. You go ahead. You got your hand up.
Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, wherever
Little
you
bird
are.
that just joined the space. Hello, thank you.
All right. I have a question. All right, you guys are obviously against the war in Iran, but I want to ask you guys a question. Would you do you think it's better if if you go in a war with Iran, or it's better if Iran with a nuclear weapon? Would you let Iran um, be have acquire the nuclear weapons, especially that Iran's biggest enemy is the United States, and you guys are from the United States. Iran's biggest enemy is the U.S., and their slogan is literally
Iran is
"Death to
cool.
America."
I rest my case. Iran is cool. All right. Thank you.
I'll just say my thought is, that is a very good question and it's pretty tricky. I would say that, the scaredness of Iran having a nuclear weapon, I think that's just kind of like Fox News tier stuff of just like leftover anti, like being scared of Muslim sentiment. I do know that like it's within their doctrine that nukes are like against their religion. And I think that although they, antagonize the United States, their primary modem for antagonizing the United States is that we back Israel. That kind of is what degraded our relations to the Middle East from the very start. When we really started backing up Israel in the 70s after JFK, that's when our relationship with the Middle East really fell apart. So it
Marcus, can I ask you a
sure
question?
thing.
Do you think that in this space right now, because you have my leader's name in your space title, which I do appreciate. I don't know if you're a Fuentes fan or not, but in any case, do you think that in this space right now that a Tweety Bird and a Garfield are going to resolve the foreign policy questions? What do you think?
A Tweety Bird. What's the
And Garfield,
like these two guys here? Like
because
these are
Garfield,
just my buddies that
yeah,
I
because
talk with.
Garfield's your yeah, because I'm Tweety Bird and Garfield is your co-host. Do you think that we're going to resolve foreign policy right now?
Like us specifically? Well, I mean, of course not.
Yeah,
We're not like in any seat of power.
that is correct.
Yeah. Well,
That's why I leave the politics to the gripers, to be honest, to my other griper friends, not me specifically. I do movie and TV spaces every night, so just my 2 cents.
gotcha.
Thank you, Kathleen Bird. By the way, thank you.
Yes, sir. Milad, you go ahead.
So what's the best option for Iran right now? If we give up the enrichments, Israel are gonna finally attack us, a Libyan model. And if we don't give up enrichment, then they're gonna attack us again. So it doesn't really matter what choice what's the
Yeah.
option we choose. Either way, they're gonna attack. Is it true?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a tricky thing. If you're absolutely right, that is Iran's legitimate security concern. If they give it up, right? You make a great point. The Libya model, right? Remember when I think Israel even said, "Oh, they should follow the Libya model." Like, right, the one where they denuclearized and then the United States just like fucking BTFO'd them. Like, yeah, lesson learned. If Iran denuclearizes in any capacity, they'll ultimately just get overthrown and get like cucked out. Simultaneously, if they and they also want to have the bomb just as deterrence against primarily Israel, but against the United States as well. So it's really tricky for Iran because they've kind of had to exist in this strange middle ground of civilian nuclear program, wherein they're very close
Guys, I
enough to
heard
a
an
bomb.
explosion.
Yeah, I
No,
do
I'm
know
living in
that.
Iran. Right now I heard an explosion. I swear to God.
Oh, you're in Iran right now, and you
Yes,
heard an
yes, it's a
explosion.
fire. It's a fire. It broke the what you said, sound barrier.
It broke the sound barrier. All right, let me monitor my Twitter feed here for breaking news. Marchese reporting now. I'm going to do the memes of like the siren post, the siren breaking
I swear
post.
to God, I sound the fighter jet.
Damn, bro. Well, GG if I don't know, GG. I guess if you're in a stay safe out there. I'll say that. But yeah, to get to the topic, it is tricky for Iran to exist in this middle ground space of they've needed to sort of be in this half ground of a civilian program that makes them capable before they get BTFO'd, but simultaneously, if they build a nuke, well, then it's going to antagonize Israel and the United States. I will say that there almost was that breakthrough a week or two ago in the negotiations wherein Iran proposed that they have a nuclear program, but with some oversight, with like the sort of inspections model, with some staffing from the United States, and I even think their nuclear facilities not all the way in their land, but don't quote me on that. I'm a little bit retarded when it comes to actually remembering the details of the politics. But yeah, great question. Great stuff here. So, yeah, I would say I don't want the United States, like, you know, there's this capture on the mind of the American of it does emulate having a friend and backing up your friend. If Israel is this is the country version of having a friend and backing up your friend when they're, in a fight with somebody or something. But it's easier said than done because, well, that attack, especially October 7th, the greatest intelligence agency in the world couldn't pick up on these guys that were planning it for months at a time. And, I shouldn't say months at a time, just for months. And, the greatest intelligence agency in the world couldn't pick up on that. And then they attacked, and it just strangely gave them the perfect excuse to enact something they've wanted to enact for, half a century. And then their treatment of Palestine, this very like rude, crass, aggressive, belligerent hubris of treating the Palestinians, treating the Arab Muslim world as like subhumanoids, denying the aid, all that crazy stuff, all in the name of, well, it's going to support, terrorists or something. So, if your friend is getting into a fight, but it's because he's starting it and all of that, and cruelly beating somebody to a pulp and to the ground, what do? Do you back up your friend, or do you tell your friend to chill the fuck out? What's more, what kind of friend do we have here? They've done nothing but take our money, you know, and the money isn't really as big a deal as, like, it is a meme. It's like the little baby red pill, but $6 billion isn't a lot, but it's the principle of they take it and then they say, oh, well, they buy our stuff. That's like if I give you money and then you give me money back for my iPhone. It's like, well, now I'm just out a fucking iPhone that was worth that amount of money. So I still am at a loss. I still just handed you technology that had a worth. So, there's this capture, there's this politics idea of backing somebody up, but it's not looking good given they're just kind of being big fat meanies and the whole world is against them, especially Europe, which has been interesting. So, it's a very tricky thing, and I ultimately do not want the United States to go to war in the Middle East. We've done this a million times. We know how it fucking goes. And, you know, not to shit on America, but we kind of lost in the Middle East. Like, we fucked it up. Like, it's kind of been a meme that the U.S. military has been losing to, like, dodo heads in, waging guerrilla warfare since, Vietnam. That
Sorry
was
guys, but it's too late. Iranian air defense is activated in Tehran. I can share the news. It's on our local news channel in Telegram.
Yeah, hey, you know what you could do? You could browse your Twitter feed, and then when you click the little share icon, you'll see this space come up. So
It's in
share it to
Farsi. You
that
have to
space.
translate it. It's in Farsi. You have to translate it with Google Translate.
That's okay. There will be a button there. So Wartorn, you
All right,
go
all right.
ahead. Chiller, I saw you on mute for a moment, so if you want to go ahead too, by all means.
Oh, that was accidental.
Oh, okay. Wartorn, you go ahead.
Yeah, we keep losing because we keep listening to Jewish people. Like
Yeah.
we shouldn't have been in Vietnam in the first place.
Yeah, let's see. All right, so I got top trending here, U.S. and Israel. Let's see. Iran. So you're hearing the alarms right now, Milad? U.S. and Israel planning to attack
Yes,
in
I'm hearing.
Yemen.
I don't hear alarms. I hear explosions, and I share a picture with you. I share the picture of the news with you, and people are reporting the. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? I put it on the speaker.
I can't hear it, but you.
Hey, Marquise, the argument is from the other side is usually that it's typically what I've heard that Israel provides the U.S. with intelligence and software. Like that's the quid pro quo, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like, as if we wouldn't be capable of that on our own. Like,
Yeah,
come
as
on.
if we aren't capable of that on their own. And their intelligence is fucking shit. You know, it's so funny. They were feeding us intelligence about weapons of mass destruction. And yeah, that didn't fucking help much, did it? That just fucking made us lose tons of American lives for that. We had they held out on
It's like it's intelligence that serves their
yeah,
interests,
yeah. They'll share
narrative
it
that
with us
serves.
if they need to bring us in. You know, we're on an
It's like that kid who like knows you're stronger in school than him, so he'll like make up something fictitious about like an alleged bully, so you can go beat him up
yeah,
or
yeah.
something. You know, like
Yeah. They even hold out on us. Like the whole memes about, you know, Israel did 9/11, you know, that's not really all that crazy when you investigate that. They had quite a bit of knowledge of it. If you've heard all of this stuff about, you know, if you've memed about how 9/11, you know, you know, none of the Jewish people that were working there showed up that day. If you hear about, you know, the dancing Israelis, you know, LOL, you know, it does pose the question of whether they did it directly or not, but, you know, all roads at the very least point to them having prior knowledge. So it's a very tricky thing. And, you know, principally, it's just a simple rational exercise. I think we talked about this in one of the spaces last time, Caesar. And that is, it's just a simple rational exercise. Like, if this is the United States, it's the United States people, citizens, whatever, need to be running it. And we need to be collectivizing on our collective American interests. And it's as simple as if you have a foreign nation, dual citizens, or meddling in our politics, it just simply follows that they're going to use us for their interests at the expense of our interests. The exercise is often, and I'll just say real quick, the exercise is often that, you know, if it was the American Chinese Political Action Conference, and it was they all had dual citizenship with China, and they were all Chinese, and all of Hollywood was Chinese, you know, conservatards would be losing their minds. But, you know, they don't lose their minds because that's not what's happening, and therefore there's no psyop to get us to not notice that. But, you know, what's the one group with which you can't mention that or you can't say that, and it would just follow that they are the ones in that seat of power.
well, that's what we were talking about in this space before, where it's like there's been this cultural structure that's been erected and been around for quite some time now, where it's this wing of evangelical, Christian nationalists that will say America first out of one side of their mouth, but then always back Israel out of the other side of the mouth. And so how can you can't
Yeah,
have both. How are you going to be America first if you're funding a country that now has, socialized medicine, no homelessness? Like our bag is like sustaining their civilization and we have homeless vets on the street. So which
right.
one is it? So unfortunately, there's got to be a correction of sorts, a cultural correction of sorts, because you can't have both. And there's just been a lot of these, brainwashed boomers, or I'd say at this point, not even brainwashed, they're just like willfully blind to not see that reality. It really comes down to a fiscal distribution, and you just have to be realistic about that. Like
A news
for
agency
me, it's like
Yeah,
confirmed the explosion.
thank you.
I'm checking that
You can
right
see it
now.
in the
Sound of multiple explosions have
But
been
yeah,
heard in Tehran. Go ahead.
But yeah, that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents, man. That there has to be like a cultural correction in that regard. That you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, which one is it? Is it America first? Like, legitimately? Like, do you want to preserve the border? Do you want to only fund our interests for a set period of time, et cetera, et cetera? Or do you want to continue feeding, this, this vacuum that just continues to suck, and it's an unrequited relationship, That's the way it looks like to me.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up
There
a good
has to be
point
a
of how
cultural correction.
the evangelical types are just retards.
I'd say like the Bush Republicans, right?
Yeah,
Because that was like a lot of like the those voters at that time. It's like around 9/11 and Bush era, like that's where that concept was really hitting hard. If you think of Pat Buchanan and all these televangelists, they were just hitting those voters and those boomers with the pro-Israel, you know what I'm saying, like stuff, you know, like culturally, you know, like that's what was really being hammered in at that time. So it's like, where are we at now? Like, what are the crossroads looking like?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like they're really so stupid as to just to misinterpret the part of the Bible where it says, be kind to the Jew, like, and telling on myself that I'm bad on scripture, but somewhere in there it says something along the lines of, you know,
Those who stand, like those who stand with Israel will be blessed, will like retrieve the blessings of heaven, you know.
right.
So,
And it's like, are we really going to sit there and act like Jesus, the God incarnate, are we really going to act like he meant, oh, by the way, just like LOL, cuck out for Jewish people? Like obviously that
no,
wasn't what was meant.
he meant the body of New Israel, which embodies everybody who accepts Christ. Like
Exactly.
that's just what New Israel is.
Exactly.
Like that's
And it's like, it's not even hard to like understand that part. And, you bring up the part about where there's got to be a course correction. I think a really tricky part to navigate for the course correction is it's been really tricky for people to precisely identify what it means to be an American. Because we're really only a 300-year-old or so country. You could even extend that maybe to like the founding stock. But the country is a young country, so you can't really ground it in something like, it's hard to ground it in race, it's hard to ground it in language, it's hard to ground it, but I'd say like, I think the starting point for American identity is it's a Christian country. It is a combination of a white and black country. I would say that has to be the starting point. And there's like white nationalists who say, meh, 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 white people this and that and everything. And I think there's like a cultural element to it wherein it was English, it was Dutch, it was Spanish, it was, all of Northwestern Europe. But I think it's safe to say by now that this country belongs at the very least to white and black Christians. And we start from there. And that's how we really get the idea of separating the Jewish person out of the equation. So, Wartorn, you go ahead.
Yeah, honestly, the Jewish people have been subverting a lot of religions. They always find a way to fuck everything over. And they have been subverting the words of Jesus Christ. So like normies and other people, they misinterpret them because a lot of them, they say, oh, you have to turn the other cheek or you have to this or that. And the thing that they leave out is that Jesus Christ wasn't nice to people that did extremely immoral things like
Yeah.
rape and shit.
Yeah.
And then these days, everybody's like, oh, you have to tolerance this, tolerance that. Motherfucker, no, cause Jesus didn't tolerate that stuff. Not at all, man.
And not just rationally, it doesn't make sense. Like if you're on the side of good, like we're objectively on the side of good, right? But let's even just do a rational experiment here wherein you think that you're on the side of good and the opposite side is evil. It follows to like have anathema for like it's evil. Like what are you supposed to do? Tolerate that? You can tolerate people's existence and you could tolerate people's lives, but you can't tolerate their evil. And like that just doesn't even make sense. Why would you do that? Like tolerance in and of itself is not some kind of virtue. I think you should, you don't have to like be violent
Dude,
with people.
there's smoke in the air. Do you want me to send the pictures in your Derek or something? Because I can't share it. They may be funny.
Yeah, sure. Just send a picture. Make it a
All
reply
right,
to the space here in the lower right corner, and then you
I'll
can.
send it in your direct.
Okay. Yeah, let's see what do we got here. Wow, breaking. Israeli Minister of Defense Israel Katz declares a special state of emergency in the home front throughout the entire state of Israel.
I think they attack us. It's a primitive attack. I almost shared that I saw
Yep,
something in
it
the air.
says
It was a
following the
jet pilot.
state of Israel's preemptive strike against Iran, a missile and drone attack against the state of Israel and its civilian population is expected in the immediate future. So let's see. I don't even think that's what's going on. I think it's just because it says following Israel's preemptive strike against Iran. Yeah, preemptive. Okay. Yeah, no, you're just attacking them. Fucking douchebags. So, wow, look at this. We're like live reporting, guys. We're live reporting we got somebody on the ground here. Isn't this cool? Isn't it? Is something happening, boys? Did Chud Jack lose? Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
I sent it in your direct messages.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, man. You should update the title of this
I
space to
think
get
I
more
should
people find
find
in here.
somewhere to hide books.
Be like live coverage Iran attack or
I
something like
Yeah,
actually,
that.
you
if
know
I
what?
make
That's a
it
great
live.
In
idea.
the title. In the title.
I'm gonna do that right
No, that would
now.
bring attention actually.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
let me
That's what I meant.
engagement bait the shit out of this. We'll see.
Yeah, man, because you put live coverage there, and then we'll all reshare it.
Live coverage from Iran, Israeli.
Okay. We about to explode your
Let's
account, bro.
go. And it's funny, like people will come in, they'll be like, "Oh, this guy's like a journalist," and it's like, "No, I'm like the base therapist, but still follow me though." Live coverage from the floor, Israeli attack. All right, and done. Look at that, beautiful. Yeah, wow, look at these. Wow, this is from or no, this is just from
Tehran.
Tehran. Yeah, let me
Yes.
press accept here. I'm going to post these to the space. Let's see, copy, and then I can go to the space here. Let's see, navigating both the desktop and all right, let's see, paste. That gives me a link to the messages in the media. Okay, stand by. Let's do. Yeah, so I guess while you guys wait for me, what's your? I guess what made you guys transition to the point of at the very least entertaining this idea of Israel doesn't have this or just entertaining the idea of questioning the United States' relationship with Israel, Jewish people, and so forth. War Torn, we could start. I guess we could start with you and basically pose the question as: when did you get red pilled?
I've been red pilled from the beginning since I was a Jehovah's Witness growing up.
Oh, okay. Did they teach
There we
that?
go.
Is that a part of Jehovah's Witness, like their curriculum or something along those lines?
Well, where I was raised, yeah, we don't trust them.
Gotcha.
Well, in Jehovah Witness, they put God before any sort of like national sovereignty or anything like that. Is that the case, or am I off the mark with that?
Exactly
What's
right. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I guess I could say my story. So you could kind of tell at the very least, I started as a sort of success bro, right? Let's see, copy image. Let's try that. And then let me go to the space here. I can't do two things at once. Slow IQ moment. Yep, still doesn't let me. Okay, so I gotta save these all. Add image to photos. Okay, add image to photos. All right, one more. I sort of started, as you could see, as a like gym bro type, a success bro, right? When I was like 14 to 17. That's how I started. And broadly, you can sort of understand that just funnels you to like the right wing politically, I suppose. I remember specifically thinking, because I was in like 11th grade history, that the I was like, okay, well, I want to get rich. I want to be successful. Which like party is that sort of energy. And I was like, okay, I guess that's the right wing. So I guess I'm like Republican. And that was kind of how I started with that. And that was right around, I want to say 2013, 2014 era. And so following that, I just sort of developed that. And I always just kept developing, looking for the truth. And my real point was, and this was actually kind of funny. I was really like success bro stuff. And I was like, if I'm really going to be honest with myself with regards to what it means to succeed, I'm going to say I have to investigate all forms of success. And all forms of success would include a man by the name of Uncle H, because he's one of the most prominent speakers. He changed the world in some way. Ultimately, technically, he wasn't successful, but I always just took something from every major figure. And then right about 2017, as I was entertaining that idea, I met my friend. Actually, you guys might have seen him in this space, John Lezak. And he was my friend, and we met a lot, and we just made jokes about like edginess. This was right around like 2017, so all the stuff about like libtards and them going crazy and all that was prominent, and so the offensive stuff and all of that. But he basically red pilled me on the idea that there are people at the very least who don't just take, all the stories for what it's worth. And from there, I really just sort of picked up on all the clues about how, it just doesn't even make sense to me to have this sort of victim class that gets to face no criticism or face no acknowledgement. And it just from there over the years, you just pick up on the stuff. You watch your podcasters. I originally had Fuentes in the title here. Like, I actually remember him when he was on YouTube. Like, I found him on YouTube in 2017, and I always kept up with him ever since. And watching how that happened, and just you hear him enough, or you hear other people enough, you hear from Christians enough about this whole dichotomy between Jewish people and Christians. This really all goes back to Jesus, but that's a whole lot that I need a lot of gaps to fill in on. But that was really how I started. I basically just from trying to be a success bro and accepting that there's going to be truth and just trying to converge on the truth. I went from
Guys, I'm hearing explosion again. There's sound of explosion. There's sounds of.
hearing explosions. Let's see. We got this guy we're covering here. We also have that journalist guy, Mario Nafal. He's covering this breaking Israel strikes Iran. Let's see. I'm going to mute my computer so that I could keep up with their space there. Let's see. Function. I'm going to mute my computer. I'm going to join it on my computer, and then let's see what they got here. They don't have much of a wall here, but let me see their comments. Okay, retards. Okay, this is just like a bunch of retards. All right, yeah, so you're our guy, Milad. You're our guy on the ground, reporting from the...
Sorry, do you think I should go to basement or something? Or do you think these motherfuckers want to attack the civilians?
Be cool. Be careful, bro.
Yeah, stay, take no chances. Stay safe, go in the basement. It's all right if you're not, if that, I don't know, if your internet reaches down there or something, but I would say stay safe. Try to get somewhere where both you are safe from overhead, and also try not to be somewhere where a building can collapse on you, if that makes any sense. I guess I wouldn't know. I really don't have much advice for you other than, if you think that'll help, then go for it. So, yeah, that's scary stuff, man. I'm sorry you're going through that. These are some crazy pictures. We got this preemptive strike. Let me monitor here. So, sorry, keep going. We could keep going around. What was your first encounter? Wartorn said you kind of started from the beginning because you were not evangelical. You were raised Jehovah's Witness. So, Chiller, what about you? Are you familiar with this stuff? Are you kind of new to it?
Oh, I'm sorry, man. My puppy actually pooped on the floor. So I've been cleaning that up for about the past 5 minutes. So I've kind of heard bits and pieces. What's the question?
The question is like, when did you get red pilled, I guess, or what was the thing that really made
I
you?
mean, I've always been red pilled to an extent. I just think it was really, I mean, so, right after the whole Trayvon Martin thing was right after I'd graduated, high school. And just like, I don't know, just like seeing all this craziness, not even necessarily the Trayvon Martin, it was more the reaction to it that like really soured my, it was just like the whole, we want to cause drama, we want to, like, be at war. We want to like, and I mean like again like I'm almost 30. Like I remember like the Gamergate. I don't know about about that, but I feel like mainly 2015. That's when it all kicked off.
Gotcha.
It's like slowly until then.
Gotcha. Alrighty. What about you, Caesar? What was your first sort of transition point where you became conscious of Jewish influence and the memes of they wield control and we're not allowed to talk about it? If you're still there.
Yeah, I'm here. I was just had to step away. Um, so for me, it was like I'd say early 2000s because around that time was the whole um, Iraq war
Right.
and all of that, kind of like what we were talking about. So along the vein of what I was, explaining to you earlier, is this being hit with the propaganda of like unquestionable allegiance to said
Right.
nation, right? Especially from the church, coming up as a Christian, just putting it into intellectual like consistency.
Right.
I was like, hold on. I was just like, I grew up alongside Muslims, right? And I never heard me personally, like a Muslim denigrate Jesus or denigrate beliefs right to my face or anything like that. But I also knew, secular Jewish people, I would say. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They were secular Jewish people, but they had no problem making jokes, making degenerate marks about Jesus. And then I remember as a child, or I should say as a teenager, bringing that up to my parents and be like, are these the alleged people who are supposed to like hate for them, have their back no
Right.
matter what? And they denigrate. So it was just like kind of like it wasn't even so much of a political thing at that point. It was just more sort of like seeing the sort of like social
Right.
inconsistencies, right? And then transcribing that just to kind of like the spiritual convictions. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel, I believe like God is the God of logic, right? And God of
Yes.
reason and justice. And so that just never really sat well with me. And then obviously when we just talked about everything that we dialed in earlier about just, the fiscal element of like, of our nation funding their social programs, et
Right.
cetera, and being America first, that also is not very congruent, right? If we're going to be America first and we have homeless vets, et cetera, on the street, we have problems at home and everyone over there is housed. You can't legally evangelize on the streets over there. So I don't know. It's too many inconsistencies that I don't have to over intellectualize it. It just doesn't sit right in the spirit to blindly accept and cape for that sort of
Yeah,
ideology.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Yeah, that makes
It's not, and I want to be clear, this is not from a place of vitriol or anything like that. A lot of people actually have that
yeah.
misconception that like, hey, this has to come from a place of vitriol or hate, or it's like not at all. It's just intellectual consistency. Like if we're not going to be that way with any other sovereign nation, why that one? That's pretty new, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well
So
said. Yeah, the social element to it, like there's always been this meme of like, the biggest red pill is people's behavior. Your first sort of red pill is just like the normie mind, and normies are retarded and insufferable, and then maybe Redditors and midwits and all of that. But then this group, even I have friends and family members who are like, by all means, like libtarded, but they'll always tailor their language, but they'll say something like, yeah, these fucking Hasidic Jews, they don't move over. They prance around. They walk in front of the street even when it's not their time. They expect everyone around them to cater to them and all of that. It's like, yeah, there's this behavioral problem of arrogance of the chosen people sentiment, the chosen people idea. And so, it that's kind of like a starting point. Like just even for to your point, you actually say something really profound there is like, you don't need to over intellectualize it. It's just simple. Like, they're not me. They're not me and my people. They're not my group. And, they kind of have disparaging things to say about me. So it's not an animosity thing. It's just, all right, why do I need to deal? Like, why am I associated with you in any way? So, War Torn, you go ahead.
Yeah, I was always Jew pilled, but the thing that really pissed me off, what they did, is they kept putting in weird people into positions of power in Christian churches. And I really hated that because when I was like a little kid, we had extremely stringent rules that we had to follow. And it really pissed me off when they were like pushing for acceptance and all that shit. And then they kept saying, oh yeah, gay people can get married. Oh, we can do this. Oh, we can do that. And then obviously it's like, you can't do that because it says not to do that in the Bible. And then they kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then that's the thing that really like made me their enemy.
Can I say one other thing? I wanted to say one other thing that just came to my mind is that, we call it red pilled now, Marquise, but, the thing is that at that time when I just noticed, we said the early 2000s, at that time, to be pro-Israel was like the Republican thing. It was the quote unquote red, I don't say, whatever, the right wing thing to be. And it's more so like those lines have oscillated with the years. Because at that time, that would have made me more of a leftist if I would have think of it. Like, hey, in the early 2000s to be like, no, I don't support Israel. I don't support the war in Iraq. I specifically even remember
Right.
that. Being treated as like some leftist commie hippie. You understand? And it's
Yeah.
like, but now those lines, now it's like there's been the changing of hands, right? There's been the lines seem to have oscillated, where it's just like a lot of the right-wing ideology now was a lot of leftist ideology, say 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. So just some food for thought as to why I'm not an ideologue. I don't get tied down to a particular ideology. I obviously have spiritual convictions, religious convictions, etc., but I'm not beholden to man's creation as far as like a political ideology or even like a classification system.
Yeah, absolutely. I see your point there. People hear red pill, Republican, whatever, and they try to like sit very nice and neatly within the lines they predefine. But you're just, to your point, you're just converging on truth, which sometimes makes you steps outside of certain lines. And wow, so you actually became conscious of this in the early 20s. I'm 29. I thought, you were around the same age. So were you like a little kid, like when this happened?
No, I was a teenager, so I got about like 9 years
Oh,
on
okay.
you. That's about it. Yeah. So I got about 9 years on you. So like, yeah, because the war in Iraq was around what? That was like before
Yeah,
2007
oh
or
three.
something like that. It
Yeah.
was like 2000. Yeah. So I was like in middle school, high school. All throughout that time was this drama, and that's when your mind really starts to, you know, create your view of the world, the way you say things, right? The way you, cultivate your ideas. So I was a little bit, I'd say, in no man's land because obviously morally and conviction wise, I've always been leaning more conservative. But as far as like the political moves, the war was very, like on the front of everybody's mind. I was very much against all of that, and maybe that was the empathic element in me and just seeing humanity. It was, I'll be honest, it was just like as a kid, it was more from like, it's just like empathic element of seeing humanity as a whole. That's what it was. It was not what it is now where we talk about it with economic interests, et cetera, so we can get a little granular with it. It was just off of, spiritual, ethical convictions, right? But with that being said, even at that time, I was pigeonholed into the category of like, okay, so you are a hippie, you are an outcast. I'm like, no, I think I'm not. But just to show you that there, the lines will oscillate. Like freedom of speech was also like more so of a leftist, talking point, back in that time as well. But in that time, it was more freedom of speech for like degeneracy and stuff like that, right? Whereas like now it's freedom of speech in other regards. Oh, damn. Sorry if I kill your space, bro. It's like everybody
No,
left.
no, that's okay. I'm also watching everything. I always feel like I have to keep things going here, but I also want to watch. I want to do the meme of watching what's going on. And
My, my
no, no,
bad.
you're
I'm
good.
here like working out and I'm just like winded, like long-winded, sounding horrible. But yeah, I just wanted to answer the question.
No, you're good. You're good.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the times have changed. I've just seen it. I've seen the lines. Like, it's like, and you'll see it in the next 15 years. I guarantee you, man. Like, you're going to be maybe falling into some other political category that converges, that
Yeah.
emerges, you know, because it doesn't have to be your convictions that change. It can just be the standards of, you know, the political environment.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, because people try to throw the meme out of like the Democrats were like the slave owners in like the 1800s or something. So definitionally back then that was categorized as Democratic. And now, I mean, there's no party of slavery now, but the meme is, oh, the Democrats are the real racists, that type of thing. So to your point, these lines, that was only 200 years ago. These lines shift and move and get redefined and everything. So, it's certainly valid to know that or to go by.
Yeah, well, my thing is that the Democrats, they've always and still are racist, like to the nth degree. They're just real, like, vitriolic about it in the sense that they're like what Malcolm X said. They're like a fox. They're like a sly fox. You know, he's like, I'd rather have the brute wolf than the sly fox. Like, know who you are than like somebody who plays in your face. You know what I'm saying? And the Democrats just play in your
Yeah,
face
absolutely.
when really they're just using, you know, they play on people's emotions and trauma to manipulate them for their own selfish gain. It's like, you know, Democrats are the true, like, aristocratic party. A lot of these people in Democratic Party, they they've never known anything other than politics. They grew up in it. They don't know what hard work is. They don't know what erecting a business infrastructure is or anything like that. So they're just aristocrats, man, that play with human beings like pawns. That's always been Democrats.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, yeah, I think you saw earlier or the meme of like the racist friend group and they're all from like different races and people make jokes about that and all that stuff. But it is interesting. I think one thing I see and understand is that, and not to get too off topic here, but I guess we'll just keep talking until we have breaking news or something. There's there's always like these things. You know what's good? I had an argument with somebody. I actually have the screenshots. Let's see. Telling on yourself. Is that it? No, damn it. I just found it earlier today. But there was this moment where I said like something like poverty or impoverishment, and somebody was like, "Oh, you're racist." And this is tired, right? Like it's really gay when like conservatards do this. But I was like, "How are you establishing?"
What was the
Yeah,
premise?
yeah.
What was the premise of the audio or
It
whatever the exchange?
was. Let me see. The screenshots somewhere. Here we go. Wait. It was about Snap, and she says
What's that?
Snap,
Snack?
supplemental nutrition assistance
Oh,
program.
okay, yeah, like the
Yeah.
welfare
And
or
this
whatever.
is like a
Yes.
tired point, but I do understand it. Like, I do understand like non-white frustration with this because she goes, and I'll just quote it. Oh, I didn't know that small stands on the side of the road accepted SNAP. Hint, they don't. And it's a problem to want groceries in inner cities. You just proved my point. You want people in low income areas to not have access to groceries because you're racist. So I said, Freudian slip. What does low income have to do with race? Are you saying non-whites are necessarily low income? Wow, yikes, department.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, like
crazy. You're right because it's like that in turn makes them the racist, the true racist, because they associated. It's like, hello, have you not heard of Greater Appalachia? Like, what the fuck? Like, all those people are on Snap, and that's like majority white people. Right? Yeah, you're right. It's it's like like people will frame something like that and be like, oh, you saying black people don't need SNAP? It's like I never said black people. I said low incomes. You're the one who made the association.
yeah.
It's funny when they put their foot in their mouth like
Exactly,
that. Yes.
exactly. So that's certainly something noticeable still that or you know, like I do notice that especially like white women, not to shit on white women because I'm trying to be, on the white team and everything, but white women are the worst with this, wherein they'll have like their white woman friend group. and they'll be the ones who like are scared of, the guy across the street or something. It was so funny in this thread here. After I said that, she goes, "Oh, it's called context clues, babes. If you can't see how they described neighborhoods in food deserts, then you're not ready for." So I said, "What context clues in this thread alluded to race then?" So it's just it is interesting when people see, there's like two versions of this, I guess, and that is that there's people who hide it like that, and there's people who just say, "Look, like I look at somebody, one of the first things that my eyes literally see is their skin color. Like that's just one of the things that I necessarily see upon looking at another person." Like what that implies is a whole separate conversation, but the idea that you can't, these types will just like weirdly pretend that doesn't exist and that's not a thing, that just sort of like implies that they have something to hide about it. The fact that they try to hide even just that, whatever it is, implies that, they don't want to go down that road because it demonstrates how they actually think and are. So, let's see what else we got here. I'm trying to.
I've had the luxury of like living in a lot of different places. So for me, it's always comes down to like I've grown a bit of intuition and perspicacity when I see certain individuals that it this sounds really woo woo-y,
Mhm.
and you might rib me for this,
It's
but it's
okay.
like an energy. No, but it's like an energy, like, and I would say it's more like the nuance and somewhat the presentation, you know, um, when I'm seeing them up front, like they can be whatever skin color, but it's just like if you're just like slouching and like moving a certain way, got your hands where I can't see them in the pocket, you know what I'm saying? Like there's certain just nuances and things, and maybe that's just from also martial arts, like training my mind a certain way. It's just that, I've seen it all.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it where like, you can have the most outstanding, transparent, and non-threatening person with dark skin, and you can have the complete opposite. A guy with a neck tattoo who's white, he's shifty with his hands in his pocket, and he looks like he's on some meth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you grow this level of like, like the safety barometer. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of it's like, okay, what is the threat? But with that being said, it's like where I live, man, it's like it's multiracial, but it's mostly like divided upon like income level. Like I live in a real like working class and like mid to upper class area where it's multi-generational people of like all different races, and everyone kind of like helps each other out. So it's just like you don't really see it in those lines. And then on the other side of the coin, I grew up in a place where it was very segregated, like like in New Jersey. It's like you got neighborhoods
Yeah.
literally of like just one group of people. And then there's like more to like what you're talking about. You do get this pattern recognition, this coding, like, okay, I've had XYZ experiences with these people here, and it's nothing personal about them. It's just, I know what to kind of expect
Yeah.
and have a certain kind of guard up. And that's really, I think that really comes from like urban living, man. Like where people are like really in their own quarters, where it's just like, where I live now, it's just like such a American experience when you think of like the classical American experience where it's like based off of like merit and fellowship and like helping people out. Like, and I wish that more people would experience that. So, but pattern recognition is a real thing. I'm not going to disqualify it, especially if you live in city environment, like in a city environment like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, and like to your point, like you should pattern recognize, and if you want to live amongst your own people, by all means, I think it's healthy for everyone to do that. And simultaneously, it's kind of like, it's almost like foreign relations. It's kind of like funny in a way, wherein you could have like foreign relations between two communities, like the Italians and the Irish or whoever used to do this all the time, especially in that tri-state area. And in a way, it's kind of funny. It's this sort of, we don't have to like each other per se,
Why,
but we have to.
why you think I got so much respect for Sicilians, bro? I grew up in Jersey. I told you.
Yeah, yeah, I'm from Long Island,
Uh,
so I'm right over there.
okay, well, A lot of my early bosses when I was a kid and stuff were Sicilians, bro. Obviously, it could never be family, but there's like that understanding that it's like a quid pro quo.
It's like this
You know,
strange like we're not on the same team, but we respect each other in a way. And what's just funny about that is like you do kind of wind up being friends, you know? Like
well, it's like a masculine fraternal fellowship. Like at a certain point, you recognize that you're being fucking mad.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's just like I'd rather like align myself. And you've been in combat or like in the military. You know, there's just like you know when someone's a man. You know what I'm saying? It's like would you rather deal with like a man, like a fucking like real
yeah.
man by your side of like and like in a certain situation, or would you rather have like a pussy of your same race next to you? I don't care what color the person is. If there's fucking bullets thrown at me or I'm in a fucking hurricane, like, I want to be aligned with the fucking man. You get what I'm saying? Things to me. Like I'm not gonna babysit some pussy who's like my same whatever phenotype. It don't matter to me, man. But that's just me personally.
It was like when I was in the military, or actually Milad, you go ahead. Got your hand up there, so Milad. All right. So while we're waiting for him, one of the funniest parts experiences with that within the military was we had this friend. We called him Garcia. That was his last name, and he would always just like bust my chop. He would just say something, right? Like it was just always like they would all tell us to all go do something, and he would wind up doing one version of the work, and we would wind up doing the other. And he'd always be like, "Oh, fucking course, you know, the Spanish guy's got to go do the shitty job, and you white people, you know." And he would always antagonize me like that, like, "Oh, you know, you white, you know, white this, you know, white that." So I would say stuff to him. I'd be like, bro, like you're still coping that you took an L 300 years ago. Like seriously. And he would laugh. And the funniest thing was that I didn't feel afraid to say that. And, he would laugh. And like the interesting,
Because he's a fucking
yeah.
man. He's not like some
So
pussy,
he
you
would
know?
laugh, and me and him were like the quintessential polar opposites of like our backgrounds. You know, you could look at me. I almost have like the military look. I almost have like a cop look, like a waspy. You know, I kind of hail from that element. You know, no drugs, no this, no that. And he like straight up had like a criminal background. Like he straight up told me he's like kidnaps people and everything. And to your point.
Jesus.
I knew there was an operation in there wherein you're like respecting each other as men in a strange way, such that like we knew that like we would bust each other's chops back and forth all the time about that stuff. And, you know, we would even hang out eventually. I think the funniest one too was one time I said something like, you guys like just, you guys took an L or something, and somebody in the vicinity heard that, and she was like, "Oh, you fucking cracker motherfucker." So I said to him, I was like, "Yo, can you tell her I'm one of the good ones? Can you tell him? Can you tell her I got the he I pass? You know, he's my gringo, you know." And he literally did that, and
Oh, exactly, bro. But that's like the vibe here. I'm in Florida. I don't know where you are, but like that's like the vibe here, man. Like we go to each other's cookouts and shit. Like it ain't even that serious. But like we know who we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know who we are. But it's like you said, he's my gringo. I brought him.
yeah, too funny. So, yeah, big stuff here. So, Wartorn, what are you up to right now? You just chilling?
Yeah, I'm just chilling, just listening and shit.
Let's see. I'm trying to find a meme to post. Let's see. I will not die. Let me find the "I will not die for Israel" meme.
I got a funny one, kind of unrelated, but I saved it today because I figure somebody would appreciate it. I think you guys might appreciate it. And we put it in the chat here because there's a lot of these types. I was trying to sandbag it for a post, but there we go. There we go. There's a
Marquez, did
lot of
you
these
grow up
types on the app.
religious?
Did I what?
Did you grow up religious?
No, actually, that's a good question. I went to a Protestant high school, so but I was resistant to it. But I was mostly just resistant because I was always like petrified of believing something just because all the other sheep believe it. So just when I'm in an environment where there's a majority opinion, I have to like, put a defense against just pure like social pressure influence. But we had a religion class every day, and we had to read a Bible verse in the beginning, and then we had to say our thoughts on it, and we would have these discussions back and forth. So it was never really debating like crazy stuff like the existence of God or anything like that. It was a lot about like truth, absolute truth. We talked about, is XYZ thing possible? We talked about, the morality interpretation of everything. When I started to become Christian was in 2017 or so. I worked at a summer camp, and this year was like a really different year. It was my 5th year doing it. And I was a swim instructor, and like I was just fucking good at it. I was really good at that. Like I really am, like I have a natural propensity for working with kids. I know how to keep them engaged. I know how to keep them in line and everything. I know how to actually teach them. And so I, throughout that experience, right, I found like, it's a really,
And you're a likable person, dude. Like you're just a likable
thank you,
guy.
bro. You are
So
too.
like kids pick up on that energy, man. Like
Exactly.
they like to feel safe, and the fact that you're likable, like that makes it good. I would have thought you were a dad or something. If you're are you a father
No,
or no?
not yet.
You got
No,
kids?
not yet. I appreciate that
Nah,
though.
you'll be a good dad, bro. I can already
Thank
say.
you, bro. Thank you. Much appreciated. It means a lot. I think I think so too. And so hang on, I'm just trying to find a meme here. So I'm working with the kids and everything, and what works, you know, they really took to me. Like they would like show up to swim class early. They couldn't get enough of all my silly jokes and all that. And at the end, I had to write swim evaluations. And I couldn't bring myself just to say, oh, like have a great school year. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the memories or whatever. Like I really had a lot to say about what it was like teaching them. Like it was a real experience. And on the last day, uh, the internet vulnerability moment, I go and I kneel down and I say, I had a really good summer with you guys, and like I teared up, and they all give me like this big hug goodbye. And after that, I'm processing that whole experience that summer, and I came to the conclusion. I said, a Reddit midwit or something will try to argue that that's like mammal brain, and that's emulating a parental relationship, and that sort of activates that type of fulfillment in your mind. But I said to myself, there's got to be more to it than that, because whatever, like there's just a handful of exercises of, well, they're not my children, so why would I get that same fulfillment? Why would I, go out of my way for this? Is it really, what emotional need would that even meet? And it just followed to me that it led me to rationally conclude there has to be a godly component to all of this. And so from there, even that following year, I was in chemistry class, and the whole premise of the first bit of chemistry is everything on the left table tries to be everything on the right table, and they do so by giving or taking electrons. And so I'm working with my professor, and she says, yep, so they're filling out their orbitals, and that lowers their energy, and they're always trying to lower their energy. So I said, okay, but why though? Like, why does that stabilize them? Why do they decide that that's how they want to lower their energy? And why did atoms decide that they're in a lower energy state if their orbitals are filled or not filled? So she literally just said, I don't really have the answer for that. That's beyond the scope.
Guys, I have a breaking
Okay, go
news.
ahead.
Military confirmed that Iranians start their strikes against the Israelis, ballistic missiles.
Israel, so we have Iran striking back with ballistic missiles. Iran is striking back with ballistic missiles. Let me refresh, you know.
The name of they started with the code name, in the name of Lord, the most gracious, the most merciful.
Okay, so let's see. Do you have a post? Yep, there we go. Nice post. 5 minutes. Iran has launched missiles at Israel. Big stuff here. Wow, just 6 minutes ago, and it's
Do,
already
do
up
you
to
think
2,000 likes.
do you think there was American assistance in this Israeli strikes against us?
I think so. Yeah, there had to be. Uh,
Do you think the White House claimed the responsibility? Because if they don't claim, it would be easier for us to retaliate against the Israeli. We burn their soul.
yeah, absolutely. We mentioned that earlier. That is a huge premise of this. Israel keeps trying to goad Iran into attacking them, but not just attacking them strongly enough such that it activates the United States. And I think this is really going to be it this time. Uh, this is going to be bad.
This is horrible fucking news. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Like
Jeez.
this is the actual like
Oh my
aggressive
God.
starting. This is the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
I send you a picture. I
This is
send you another
this
picture.
this,
Alrighty,
this is like, not to sound callous to our brother over there on the front lines. So I hope he stays safe, may Lord, and thank you. But Jesus, this is gonna kill our freaking economy. Oh my God.
yeah,
Like, God.
Man, this is a time to put a leash on a beast. These motherfuckers are, oh dear God.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, bro. Hold in there, bro, and stay safe, may Lord. For real, man. Sending prayers to you,
yeah.
brother.
Let me see. I'm going to add an image to photos, and then I am going to post
There are also
that
explosion in
image
Iraq
to.
and also Tehran, another city of Iran, which are the home of the national nuclear facilities. Guys, I'm still hearing the fighter jets. I think it's F-14. I'm on the roof. It's Iranian F-14, I think.
Bro, bro, you should get in a basement if you can, man. Forget the roof.
Yeah, bro.
Lord. Like, I don't even know, even if, I don't, actually, I don't want to tell you that because if you get in a basement, you can't get out with rubble. Like, that's horrible too. I honestly don't know what would be the best to do in that situation, man.
Guys,
I'll just send you prayers,
if we
man.
don't control the Israelis, they're gonna massacre us all, and nothing we can do about it. This is a time that we should respond to them.
No, yeah, no. Like honestly, Iran has no choice right now but to respond to Israel. It's just such a catch. It's just such a horrible catch-22 because if that activates the if that activates the United States, like that's going to be huge. It's going to be a major issue. So let's see what else we got. Let me post the image that you just gave me here. Let's see. I'm pretty sure I just added that to fucking photos. Add image to photos. All right, here we go. So now I am going to drag that in there. This is from you. And sheesh, man, you got quite the view there. That's fucking crazy, man. Alrighty, and let
The
me.
air defense isn't going off. It is still shooting something in the air. I can't see what it is, but they are still shooting.
Gotcha. All right, let me
Guys,
post
can
this.
you hear it? Can you hear it?
No, I can't.
I'm sorry, my microphone isn't that strong.
That's okay. All right, let me make sure I got this posted here. Our image. Let's see. I just posted your image. Of course, I guess Mossad is attacking me right now because I'm trying to post your image and it's not working. Let me check the space actually on the phone. Maybe it went through on the phone. All right, so we got, and now Israel, Iran is attacking back. Let me try posting this again. I'll post your image that you sent me. So, yeah, dude, we're actually like watching history right now. And, it's really tricky to arrive at what's actually going to happen, right? Because you don't want to, it almost feels gay to be like, oh, no.
They terror the Iranian chief of staff. He's probably dead now.
Oh, yeah, probably. Like everything that we hear or we hear reported is probably like 20 minutes too late, So, like the chief of staff of Iran could be dead right now, and we're going to hear about it shortly. To your point, yeah, this is crazy, bro.
They hit his home. I don't know if he was there or not,
Oh, but
but if he was
they
there,
got his
he's
home.
definitely dead. Yeah, somehow they hit his home. I don't know, it was a Mossad operation or something.
Gotcha,
There was a bomb in his apartment.
gotcha. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. I want to post one of these. I'm going to take advantage of the, you know, so let's see. Let me do a veterans post. Veterans. Young soldiers, Marines, airmen, and sailors, and guardians.
Dude, I have a video of footage of the dead bodies.
Okay. Islamic Republic of Iran. Iran military. The name of God. Remember, based Iran's Twitter is based. Dude, do you see that? If you guys check our wall here, it's Iran military. Their literally military page goes, remember, we didn't initiate it. Based. Let's see. Out of war for Israel. Let me use the correct keywords here. Let me go back to my profile. Sorry, I'm not too talkative here. I'm going to try to keep up here. I'm trying to farm engagement. So, Vermilion, it's good to see you. Good to have you.
Yeah, I wasn't totally sure if I could make the space, but I'm free now. I gotta get like one thing from my car, but other than that, yeah, it's good to be here.
You're good. Good to
Is
have
it
you here.
wild? Did you know this was gonna happen before you made the space today?
No, yeah, I
Dude, I
like.
send you a video. I send you a video footage. There a dead body in it. He's burning in a fire as a
Oof,
result of Israeli strikes.
brutal,
He's
brutal
probably
stuff.
military personnel.
Yeah, no, Vermilion, that's a good question. What did I see? I saw just like, I wanted to just give like a review of it because I had been hearing about, I was taking advantage of, like, I saw it circulating through Twitter that the negotiations have broken down and, like, there could be a war any minute. So I just wanted to throw a quick one, an impromptu one up, to red pill anybody on the conflict, red pill anybody on the Jewish relationship with the United States, just to give a brief overview. And in a relatively optical space here, everyone here comes off as like normal functioning people. So but literally Milad jumped in here and he, like, dude, like, he's in Iran and he jumped in. So props to our guy. He's on the ground right now reporting for us. And he said,
Actually, I think I was the first one. I think I was the first one on Twitter that heard the explosion because it's near my apartment.
Yeah, you gotta be, bro. That's
like,
crazy.
you heard it,
Like
you told us
the
about it
synchronicity
before.
is
Yeah.
nuts. Wow, Marchese, what the heck, bro?
Yeah.
What you on, man? Are you like a psychic or something?
I'm
You
just,
you a
I'm just
booho? You set up this space and you already had a premonition or
I think
something?
a part
Goodness
of it
gracious.
is I wanted to just sort of in our orbits now because we kind of have all these neighborhoods. We were in that neighborhood with Shiv and Raylan, and then that other neighborhood that hosts spaces and all of that. And honestly, bro, like, I host my spaces. I talk a lot about interpersonal dynamics and everything, but I just wanted to talk about what's real and what's actually fucking serious insofar as I've just been thinking like it's great to shit on women and scare the hoes all the time, but I'm like kind of getting a little tired of hearing about fucking women like and it's like it's 2020.
Yes, man. Something less juvenile and less
Yeah.
emotional, please. Jeez.
Like
Yeah.
it's not it's you're not edgy or cool anymore for after 2018, 2019, saying women and accountability, am I right? Like that just brings me to a point of like, okay, can we get past that? Like shut the fuck up. Like women aren't taking accountability, they're gay and retarded. Like here's what you do. Like, stop going to titty bars, stop going to clubs and gay butt sex parties. If you are on Tinder, don't only swipe on girls with their fucking tits out, and sure enough, you'll find a pleasant woman. Like, I'm married. I met my wife on Tinder. I swiped right on women who didn't have their fucking tits out. My wife didn't have her fucking tits out, and so, um,
Oh wow, you met her online.
yeah,
That's kind
I
of
met her on
a
Tinder.
that's
Yeah, it was a total just from the start. She messaged me first, and it was pleasant from the beginning. And she never gave
nice.
me any sort of issues. The texting was always right away. And so all that's to say that like
No
yeah,
games.
you can
Guys, I
make
have a
you
bad news.
go for it.
I think IoT also
What?
attacked Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq, which is an American air base.
Al Assad Air Base in Iraq may be attacked. Sheesh. Let's see. Rising Lion will continue as many days. Wow, we're watching World War III break out as we speak.
I think I commented that it was going to happen while we were
Wait.
doing this space.
Hey, Milad, is Al Assad Air Base? Is that in Israel or is that
Al-Assad
in
Air
Iran?
Base is in Iraq. Is the biggest U.S. air base in Iraq.
Are you, so wait, Israel attacked a U.S. air base.
No, IRGC attacked the U.S. air base. IRGC proxies.
Oh,
That's
oh,
GG.
Iranian Revolutionary Guard.
That's GG.
oh, got you. Thank you for
That's
clearing that
Guys,
up.
GG.
another thing.
Forgive
Iranian
my
Department of Defense
ignorance.
just released a tweet that said we're gonna strike all the Americans' bases all around the region. I send the tweet.
You're not losing.
I think it's a trap.
Wait, where's that tweet?
The Department of Defense for Iran just tweeted that we're gonna strike all the American bases all across the region. I think it's a trap because they're gonna drag. The Israeli goal is to
Holy
drag
shit.
to the United States into the war with us.
That's serious, bro.
That's just trap. We shouldn't enter it. We should
Yeah.
just
Honestly,
hit the Israelis,
if I
just
may,
the Israelis.
if I may say something, this would be remarkably retarded because this would be like Iran's Pearl Harbor moment of like Japan needlessly getting into like attacking the U.S.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this would be rather stupid because the U.S. already said they wanted to stay out of it. So this
Exactly,
would
it's a
be
trap.
this would be a death warrant.
This is crazy, bro. This is putting Trump really like in a freaking position, like to really see what he's made of. That's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
Like, but I'm sure he's already calculated pretty much every scenario. I'm confident, man, like with his team that they calculated every possible scenario.
I think that, this poses a good question of I think Trump as a person doesn't want war with Iran. Like he sees that. I think there is a faction in the United States government that has been bickering back and forth with the neocons about they don't want war with Iran. And I have to double check on who those people are. I think Pete Hegseth is actually one of them, despite him being like an evangelical tard. We have we have a faction, and I think Trump has been trying to avoid this, but ultimately he was just too beholden to Israel. He couldn't fucking leash them. If he stopped funding them, like at any given, if we stopped fucking giving them weapons and shit to fund their Palestine war, this would have been cooked. This would have never fucking happened. If we stopped letting them fuck around with our shit in Palestine, and if we stopped endorsing Palestine, they would have never been able to even carry out that operation. They're a very small country, and so that would have bankrupted them. They would have never even thought to fucking take on Iran. So crazy stuff right now. We are watching World War III break out. Can you fucking believe this, bro?
This shit cut my appetite, bro. Just finishing here, and I was hungry, and that took my hunger right away.
Yeah. I'm
God
I'm
damn.
really not letting I'm trying not to let myself be like, like a alarmist, appeal to all of our emotions here, but I do think that this is serious.
Nah, man, this is history,
Yeah.
dude. This is
I think
history.
this is actually
This is
very
not some.
serious.
I actually don't think this is going to
This.
start World War III. I just don't. I don't think. I don't
I
think.
hope you're
I
right,
don't think.
man.
Well, their own neighbors don't even like Iran. I really don't think it's going to start World War III.
You don't think so? We have our official representative of the nothing ever happens.
What? Well, let them build on it. No, we need that for our nerds. Go ahead, Vermilion. Speak on it,
No,
man.
I mean,
I need to hear this.
well, I've been. I admittedly I haven't followed a whole lot of the Jewish question debate, so I'm not going to be a speaker on that. I don't know a whole lot about it. I've kind of stayed neutral on it. That disclosure being said, I have followed this particular conflict for a while, and my understanding of the region, the Saudis hate uh, Iran. The neighboring countries don't appear to be a fan of them. I mean, when your own immediate neighbors don't even like you, it's highly unlikely. Like Europeans, Indians, China is going to get too wrapped up into this.
Right.
I just don't see it happening. Like it would be one thing if all the other oil-rich countries were like, no, don't attack Iran, because that would fuck up the oil for the whole world and everything, and that would be a catastrophe. And I just
At
their
least five
militaries
children
aren't
was
even
died
that
in the
strong.
attack. At least 5 children was died in this attack. The state media has just confirmed it.
Yeah,
Is it still active or is it done?
Eh,
Like, what?
They're
Is it? You still
there are
hearing stuff?
F-14. There are Iranian F-14s in the sky. I don't know what the air defense sound is off, but they're fighter jets over us.
God damn. Well, we praying for you, man. Let's all pray for this
Yeah,
man so he
absolutely.
stays
God
safe,
bless,
please.
man.
Come on.
yeah. I hope you stay
Wartorn,
safe.
Wartorn, you go ahead. Actually, wait,
Yeah, can I say something?
real quick.
Okay.
Sorry, Milad, you sent me that video, but it's not letting me like download it and post it. So do you mind just posting it to our space here, and then I'll retweet it and everything. Wartorn, you go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, I want to say something really funny. We might get World War III, but is it kind of fucked up that like I'm kind of like calm and shit?
You might be a
No, well,
nihilist, bro.
I mean, we're pretty far
Well, so,
removed
well,
from it.
well, yeah, we need to be calm to a degree. I mean, it's not like the sky is falling on us right now, but it's just the implications of it, bro. Like, that's not cool. Like, I think of the people over there, man. I think this dude Milad right here, the one who's giving us the news, man. Like, that's kind of weird, right? Like that we started this call not even related to the strike that's happening, but along the theme of what's going on. And then this guy's over there hearing like fighter jets over him and bombs. It's like, my heart goes out to him and all those people around him. That's it. Just from like a human standpoint. But
Well,
yeah,
that's why I
I
said it
mean,
was fucked up.
what's up, bro?
I said that's why I said it was fucked up.
Yeah, I know it is fucked up. It's crazy. But yeah, no, of course we gotta be calm. We still got our lives, bro. We still gotta make decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see.
Vermilion, I don't think we're doing hands. You can just talk to
Real quick,
us.
Milad, that picture you sent me of that house there, is that the official's house? I forgot which official you said.
That's the house of the Iranian chief of staff general.
Gotcha. Let me do a break.
That there is nothing left of.
Which picture is that? Have you posted it?
I send it to the body.
He sent it to me. I'm about to
Oh,
post it.
yeah, post it.
Breaking. Me LARPing as a reporter right now. Sorry, it's the Iranian chief of staff right now.
Yes, there are rumors that he's dead from the attack.
He's dead.
He's probably dead.
God damn. Uh-oh.
And who would you get this from? Like, did a friend send you this?
Yes, exactly. Our local news, and we are all communicating with each other.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna tag you in it just so that you could.
Could you please do not tag me on it? I don't want to, you're Americans, and the next day they're gonna say that I spy for the Americans, and they're gonna
Okay, yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
crucify me. This motherfucker.
Yeah, you should straight Marquise. You should straight up delete this space altogether. Just given what we talked about earlier, and then now this. I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
maybe I will. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would be really grateful if you delete it later.
Iranian chief of staff house hit and attack by Israel. I'm gonna get shit if somebody's like, where'd you get that from? I'll say it.
Yeah, you don't want no one knocking on your door tomorrow, Marquise.
Iranian chief of. But you're confident, Milad, that this is his house?
It's his house, but nobody can be confident that these guys are multimillionaires. They have multiple houses, but this is one of their houses.
What's
I'm
up,
good,
Amar?
thanks.
We're
Almost good.
watching World War III break
I
out right
just
now.
I just woke up. Tell me what's going on. What's going on? I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. So, do one of you guys want to fill him in while I monitor everything and make posts?
Milad, go ahead. Tell him Milad's in Iran right
So
now.
we
So what's
were
the
This
talking.
question?
actually happened.
So we were talking about the conservative ideas, and I was just following Nick Fuentes, and because I follow Nick Fuentes, the space of this
No, I'm
body,
asking what's going
yeah,
on with Israel and Iran. Like, when did the attack happen? What kind of
it
attack is
was
it? Is it like
3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, around 3 o'clock, and I heard three explosion. I was the first, and I think the people in this space think that I was crazy, but later on,
is
No,
this
no.
a
While he was on the call, this happened.
is this a ground warfare artillery attack or an aerial
no,
warfare like fighter jets or
I almost sure I almost certain that I heard I heard it was like a cruise missiles or that a fire jets drop
something?
or a bomb or something like that. I almost certain about it.
Let's see. We got.
So three explosions already. Okay. hmm This is all because of Obama. That asshole fucked everything up.
Hey, we got Gibson with a lovely post here for our. Let me go to my profile here. We have Gibson here with a prayer. I am going to repost it, and I'm also going to post it to our space here. Let's see.
This is the guy. This is the guy that they say he's probably dead. I shared it in a nest.
What is the population of Iran? Current
90
population?
around 100 million.
100 million. Resistance here. Okay. Ah,
Let's see. Let me post this to our space here. We have a prayer from Gibson, our good friend Gibson, posted to the space, and then I will do it to the wall here. I'm managing from both my phone and yeah, Gibson called it, man. All right, I just fucking sent this to our space. Why is this not doing it? Let's see.
ah. And Netanyahu,
That was just
Netanyahu, Netanyahu is in charge right now, right?
yeah. And Parliament was trying to get him out. So I wonder what the connection is here.
Netanyahu being transferred to safe location. 4 minutes old. Okay. Netanyahu targets Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. Oh my goodness.
Okay. So I did.
Oh my
Here we go.
goodness. This is not good for India because, we are the net importer of crude oil from Iran. If something bad happens, then, fuel prices, inflation might go up in India because of this.
All right. Let's see. We got.
30% export. Oh my goodness. There was this particular plane crash in India. I don't even know about that. What's going on in the world?
All right. Let me check. I'm just gonna
This is a very,
monitor
very.
all my notifications.
This is just like Amar. It was so bizarre because we were having a space earlier along the theme of these things, and it literally happened while we were on the call. Like that's what's really crazy. It was like literally the space was talking about the relations in that part of the world, and then this literally popped off while we were on the call.
Very bad things are happening around the world on very bad things. It's very chaotic. Just, um,
Have some nothing ever happens chuds still holding out on me on some because I made a reply to AF post. I said nothing ever happens.
Wait, hey, Milad, were they attacking the base, actively attacking the base, or is that just hearsay, the American bases? Because like I don't
No,
see
they aren't
how
active,
it wouldn't.
not actively. The Iranian proxies did it. Some small drones,
Okay, so okay,
They
yeah,
they
because I
have
mean I
to
don't
they
see how
have to
the
they have to calculate the damage first and then calculate the response. I think this is what's going to happen. But definitely the Iranian gonna strike the Israelis back.
that's what you see. I don't see how the U.S. wouldn't get involved, like with the U.S. Air Force Base getting
Yeah, no,
attacked.
if that's confirmed,
I don't see like Trump being like, no, we're playing Switzerland. We're not gonna get involved. Like I just don't see that.
I wonder if Trump and Hegseth and everyone knew that Iranians would, or proxies at the minimum, would irrationally respond to the U.S. anyway. And so they could just say they're not going to get involved at all, put that PR out there way in advance, say they're not going to, knowing full well they're going to get retaliated against regardless. I mean, that would be a brilliant strategy. Like, say, we don't want any part of this, and then,
I agree with you, bro, because like that's what I was saying earlier is that like I can't fathom that the administration didn't think out every possible scenario in this past few years. You know what I mean? Like
man,
they
latest 2 minute old, like a head of IRGC eliminated. My goodness.
it's like so many of these dorks online are just like, Trump said we're not getting involved. So, oh, right, yeah, because we can just take that seriously every fucking time. Some of these dorks replying to me, bro. It's so.
did Trump say they were not going to get involved? Did he put out a
The state
statement?
media
Because
of
it
Iran
literally just
confirmed that
reliably, yeah.
Iranian nuclear facility is under attack.
Iranian nuclear facilities are under attack. Confirmed. Let's see. Let me scroll through my notifications here. Nothing's ever happens, chuds. I got. Let's see. Some fucking Jew is like, Israel doesn't need the U.S. military. Oh, right, yeah.
what?
So, like, I don't even have to look through her tweets or anything, or I don't even have to do an early like.
You don't even need to dignify that with a
Yeah.
response to
I mean,
don't even waste
they
your
would
energy.
they would benefit quite substantially from the U.S., but if you're looking at Iran's capabilities versus Israel's, like objectively speaking, Israel could overpower Iran rather easily.
No, like, I don't think so. Last I checked, we got quite a military in Iran. A lot of people forget that, not saying you're forgetting this, but Iran has this image of being like a Middle Eastern country and that sort of thing, but it's fairly developed.
But I mean, how developed? Like
And
they got their
robust.
radar
Well,
systems completely toasted by Israel without a challenge, and they. Do you have a like? In what regard is their military strong, relatively speaking?
Let's see. I'm still monitoring here. Let's see. I could. Would anybody shit on me for using Grok here?
No,
Let's see.
I don't know if you have to, but I'm just curious to your claim because I'm sure Israel's stronger than, for example, Iraq, but I'm a little skeptical about their capabilities.
Here's what I'll do. I just prompted Grok. I said, compare Israel's military to Iran's military. Israel ranked 15 in a power index, slightly ahead of Iran at 16th. We have, let me see if it'll let me copy Grok link, and I'll post it to the space here. It's still typing out. Let's see. Let me check
I did
online.
some homework real quick. It's crazy. It's like a throwing the dice up in the air, man. Because like Israel's far superior with air force than Iran, but then Iran is far superior with they have a larger arsenal of like medium to range ballistic missiles. Like it's crazy.
Their
Like cyber
their
warfare
missiles.
too. Huh?
That's the problem. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's
All
okay,
right,
bro.
go
Go
ahead.
for it.
Okay.
I'll wait.
No, you good. Go for it, bro. I'm not even that
Well,
seasoned with it,
I mean,
so go
I
for it.
don't. Admittedly, I don't have the facts on that, so I'm just going to go on a limb and say. So even if I, Iran had more like uh, ballistic power, if at least as far as their last attack on Israel went, when they sent a bunch of those missiles and drones, it took forever for them to get from Iran to Israel's soil. So I mean, when you have an air force that can just drop stuff immediately on top of you versus having ballistics that take many minutes to get to your territory, that's a rather huge disadvantage.
Yeah, let's see if my Grok here is done. All right, so I'm going to share. I am going to copy link, and I will post it to the space here. We have. It's actually really fucking annoying how many tabs. Like,
Hey, Marquise, now based on like what we were talking about earlier, you're about to see all the boomers come out waving the flag, if you know what I'm talking about.
what's that? They're gonna wave the Israel flag?
Yeah, man, now all the boomers are gonna come out. I told you. Remember we were talking earlier? Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Here
like
they come.
they're gonna put away their America First flags and I'll put up that one. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
like that. There needs to be a cultural course correction because it's like you can't have it both ways.
Breaking: Iran has struck confirmed strikes against Natanz nuclear sites. We have strikes against Tehran and military officials. We have some of my shares here. Lots of crazy stuff going on here. I'm glad I got your last picture. Let me go to check on the trending. Let me browse the trending feed here. Israel strikes Iran, Tehran. Explosions confirmed. Let's see. World War III. Let's go to Israel. This whole topic here. Let's see if X does a good job of parsing out. Preemptive strike. That was an hour ago. Hour ago. Anything new?
So is the Iran Observer the best source of info at this point, or is
Probably,
it?
and probably Iran's. Um,
I hate to say that because they're probably extremely biased and full of propaganda, but at the same time, I don't know if anyone has
They are
faster.
biased, but they are biased, but they're just confirming that we got hit.
Yeah,
What's to be
which
biased
is
about, you know?
which is probably objective enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Breaking. Speaking of, 47 seconds ago, Israeli missiles at Tehran were launched from Iraqi airspace, which is controlled by USA. Very interesting. So U.S. had to know about this. If Israel is launching missiles from U.S. controlled airspace, U.S. had to know, like they had to cooperate on this. Iran State
That would
TV
seem
says three
legit.
nuclear sites have been targeted. Yeah, I'll keep watching Iran Observer here. let's see what else is going on.
To be fair, Iran does need to lose its nukes, though. They're just a chaotic force in the region. I don't think they should have nukes at all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the ultimate American position is only we should have nukes ever, but unfortunately, the world doesn't work that way. I don't know that. I'm pretty sure it's in their. They're very strongly in their religious doctrine that they can't use nukes. Like it's very against their religious doctrine. So that, and then
My impression is the imams in Iran are fully willing to use those capabilities, and if not only willing to, but that it's part of their uh, objectives. I mean, I'd have to look again, but we might have conflicting sources of info. I haven't looked at it too much, but I mean, like
I just
Pakistan has nukes, and that I don't think anyone's worried about Pakistan launching nukes.
yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like we have this sort of training in our. Not saying that you're like Zogbot it up, but we have this training in our mind to think any Middle Eastern country having nukes is like, they're all like belligerent goofball nations, but I really don't think Iran's all that belligerent with something like that. I think they're probably a little bit of a aggressive regime, but I don't know
I
that
mean,
I
they are.
don't trust them. I don't trust them with nukes, but I don't not trust them with nukes. I mean this stuff is really thanks to the United States enabling Israel to facilitate its grand scale military operation here. So who's really the belligerent one?
Well, I mean, even despite that, Iran keeps funding proxies to attack everybody everywhere. You got genocides in Syria, largely funded from Iran. You have Houthis shooting missiles at everyone, regardless of whose ship it is. I mean, I would consider them to be rather belligerent. They seem to be involved in everything, terror-wise. I don't see why they wouldn't be reckless with nukes. Or at least use nukes for posturing in order to facilitate other forms of war and destruction. They seem rather hostile to everyone in the region, which is why all their neighbors hate them.
Yeah. Well, I
I'm not
think
saying it. I'm
yeah,
not
I
saying
think
Israel should be impugned from anything they do. I'm just saying Iran is habitually a problem. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, I'll just say that when I have to investigate more into those proxies, but it always begs the question of what can you trust about what you've heard about those proxies? It always sort of points to strangely benefiting Israel, or strangely pointing to the idea for Israel to have regional hegemony, for anybody that's an antagonist to Israel to look like an idiot or look like a jerk and everything. So I'm always gonna, but I can't really back any of that up at the moment. I'm gonna have to dig a little deeper.
My question here is though is if these forces stopped attacking Israel, would they just do nothing though? I've had a lot of conflicting information about what's going on in that region. Would Israel do nothing if everyone just stopped attacking them? Would they do nothing?
Well, no, I mean, because that's the big question because it starts with October 7th, but it there's been a lot that has come out that makes it clear that Israel sort of intentionally pretended to fail on intelligence on this. And
Yeah, I mean
you,
that. Yeah,
so, they were being attacked, but they were also being attacked. So this attack was actually planned to sabotage normalizing ties with, I think it was Saudi Arabia. Right at the time, Biden was about to strike up a deal with Saudi Arabia and Israel to have normalized relationships. I think somewhere along those lines, the that would put Palestine as sort of like having no defense. Saudi Arabia was like the last, significant defense for Palestine. So if Saudi Arabia had a U.S. backed relational tie with Israel, then Palestine would have been left defenseless, and Israel would have attacked them regardless. So what they did was attack Israel in the beginning or beforehand, because then Israel attacks them back, and now Saudi Arabia, by everything from public image and foreign relations, can't normalize ties with
Yeah.
Israel because it'll look like a betrayal to fellow Arab Muslims in Palestine, even though they were kind of going to do that already. It's just much more clear, and they have to answer to their people in that sense. So, in a way, there was an attack on Israel, but it was also that was a preemptive attack, you could say, which doesn't justify it,
'Cause what?
but it's really complicated over there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of complications. Like, I mean, like for example, Egypt, and what I think Jordan, if I have my geography and nations correct, Egypt and Jordan will not take Gazans in because the last time they tried it was pure chaos and they committed
Yeah,
terrorism. I mean, there's a lot in this region that is just insane, and so
yeah,
it's very hard to take that side account of things because none of these people seem to like their neighbors at all. Unlike Europe, for example, you got Britain lives. I don't totally know my geography in Britain because there's so many countries, but not Britain, Europe. But I mean, they have so many neighbors, and they get along just fine. I don't think they have any major like territorial disputes or political disputes in Europe, for example. I don't think a ton of Asian countries have a whole lot of. I know North Korea and South Korea have disputes, obviously, but China and Taiwan, for example, but they don't have a ton of problems in their regions. It's just in the Middle East, a bunch of the neighbors just seem to have chronic issues with each other, and so it's
yeah.
really difficult to kind of assign a blame to someone because it's like not only some kind of triangle of chaos, but like a pentagon of chaos going
Yeah,
on. Like,
yeah, no doubt. That region is chaotic. They've been fighting a lot. The Sunnis and the Shias fight a lot, and there's a lot of fighting over Israel's deliberate insertion in there as
Yeah,
part of it. So,
we do know who likes to instigate. That's the thing. We know who likes to instigate.
yeah, yeah. So it's a very tricky thing. Rare moment. If Nick Fuentes went live on time here, that's like the meme there. So I'm trying to get the closed captions to work and see if he has any good reporting here. Let's see what else
it's
we got.
also it's also hard because even inside of these countries, you just have so many different factions inside one country.
Yes.
Like, for example, if you talk about Iraq, you're not talking about one unified government. You're talking about like they have what like I think someone mentioned Kurds and Sunnis and all that. You have a bunch of different factions that have a lot of different influence and power within one country, and so even on a country scale, like you don't even have like singular groups. It's like multiple different countries with multiple different factions having multiple different influences
Yeah.
that affect each other. It's
Damn,
just
did
like
Milad
it's
dip?
pure
I wonder
chaos
if he's
over there.
okay. Milad's not here. I wonder if he's okay.
Yeah, I hope he's okay.
He, I hope so too. I wonder if he had to get off to relocate or
Something.
something. I hope he's okay.
Let's see. I've got Iran Observer. Okay, Iran Observer is now saying missiles have not been launched by Iran yet. Reports of missile launches have not been true. And nothing ever happens. I'm gonna share this to our space here. And nothing ever happens.
I disagree with the nothing ever happens thing. I think nothing ever happens when I think I could be wrong. This is just a theory. I'm just theory masturbating at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
But but I think people catch on to what's happening, and so there are counter forces, and then the people of the things that are happening are like, okay, let's chill, not get found out. So then they chill, and the other side does what they want. And I think at some point somebody fucks up, or there are multiple fuck ups in uh, continuity, and then something happens because at that point the dam breaks. I think it's just like
Right.
kind of an ebb and flow of like people like just pushing the bounds and then retreating and trying some new strategy.
Right.
Something's eventually going to happen because eventually some nihilist gets sick of it and is like, "Fuck it, I don't care. I'm going to blow this thing open." So I mean, something does eventually happen. It just takes someone who just gives no shits
Yeah.
to like just be like, "Fuck it, I want the clout," or I have a vendetta, or this person gave me such a hate boner. I'm going to sacrifice myself on this altar.
Yeah.
So I mean, something eventually happens. It just requires someone who doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. Too funny. Oh, that's why. Let's see. Let me un. When everybody is taking money, when all the influencers are taking money from the GOP. Let's see. All right, so he's talking about influencers. We can't trust them to tell the truth about that campaign and the prospects. All right, you guys can't hear that, right? You can just hear me.
We can hear it.
I
Okay.
can hear it.
Can you hear it now?
You might want to put it closer to your mic, but we can hear it.
Do you want to listen to it, or I just was gonna have it playing in the background if in case he said anything that prompted a good thought.
I mean, either way.
Politicians lie. The Republican Party screws over. He's just mostly talking about this is tough stuff. This is pretty about influence and conservacucks and all of that. That's another one that is sort of like a huge dividing line that I can't really wrap my mind around. Like, I just, any rightoid, if you have any like right wing sort of alignment or sentiment, like, I don't see how you could ever always trust every influencer and everything they say, you know, especially when they're like mainstream.
You mean you don't like Ben Shapiro? What happened, man?
Dude, are you kidding? I freaking love Ben Shapiro. And then when the girl said, when he said Boy Scouts are for boys, and then when the girl said, and then the girl said, where does it say that so? And then he said, in the name Boy Scout.
Ben Shapiro has a lot of good coverage, but you can just tell when his takes are just trash. Like I will listen to him because he takes some angles that you wouldn't. He has some analysis you wouldn't see elsewhere. But like there are so many times I've listened to him where I'm just like, oh my fucking god, like why did you come up with this take, bro? Like.
Yeah. I just like have not listened to him in ages. You know,
I can't stand him on like absolutely any level.
based. Yeah. Missiles have not been launched yet by Iran. Shaking my head. Let me.
I'm just gonna come out ahead and say Iran's gonna get pummeled.
Ugh,
I really don't think they're gonna stand much of a chance here.
goodness, Milad sent me. Let's see. Let me check. Last thing Milad sent me was at 9:28 Eastern time, so roughly 10 minutes ago. So don't know where he is now. He sent me a video here. Let me try to get it to open. It looks like a tragic death here, or maybe it's just a screenshot. Yeah, I think it's a screenshot from a video. So let's see. I have Aragon. I could invite you to speak here if you have some thoughts. Aragorn here is joining us. He's a listener, but he was just browsing around some of my replies on all the posts here. So let's see what Aragon says. 2017 left him behind. Or sorry, you're sending me this privately, so maybe I shouldn't repeat it. But Yeah, good to see you here. I invited you as a speaker, so feel free to speak all of this. Let's see. Let me go to what's trending here. Okay, World War III, 3,000 posts, Chinese, California National Guard. Let's see, Israel strikes Iran, Tehran explosions confirmed. This is the big topic here. IDF 55 minutes ago. Oy vey, the IDF launched a preemptive, precise combined offensive to strike Iran's nuclear program. Dozens of IAF jets completed the first stage that included strikes on dozens of military targets. Let's see, this is all an hour ago, so this is all news, old news. Alex Jones. Rerum Novarum, let's see. Latest developments, I'll scroll back maybe 15 or 20 minutes. President Trump is expected to make a statement shortly. Interesting. Wall Street Journal said earlier tonight that he was not going to address the press, but apparently he'll be making a statement. Rerum Novarum. All passengers at Ben Gurion International Airport evacuated, flights suspended. Alrighty, what else we got? 15 seconds ago, breaking. Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting, official state-owned media, reports that IRGC Commander Salami was assassinated tonight. Whoa. Big. Let me...
Dude, I think they need to go. Iran is such a nuisance.
Yeah, but bro, like, you know what that means? They're the last beachhead against Israel. Like, Israel dominates that region. You know what happens? It will happen. Israel will dominate that region, and the United States won't even. Yeah, they'll separate from the United States, but then they'll just try to dominate more. And that's not to say they're like gay imperialists, because that's always gay and everything. But if they control the Middle East like entirely like that, that could cause serious problems, especially because they just have
What
this
is the Middle
insufferable
East?
belligerence.
Hold on. I got like one question because I'm trying to. I do want to be in good faith here.
Yeah.
Um, is there? I'm going to make 2 points and you could respond to both. Is there evidence Israel tries to expand beyond their walls? And then
Yeah. The Greater Israel Project. And
I haven't heard of it. So if there's legitimacy to it, I'd love to hear about it. But two, my second point, you can respond to both. My second point is what benefit is the Middle East providing? You
lots
can
of
respond to
trade.
both.
Lots of trade, lots of centralized, with the oil and everything. And yeah,
Saudi Arabia alone.
Well,
yeah.
Saudi Arabia is being rather cordial in the Middle East.
They're just a huge power to be reckoned with, though.
I don't see Israel like going after Saudi Arabia though. They seem to be pretty cordial for what it's worth.
Let me find you the Greater
Plus,
Israel.
Saudi Arabia is a massive U.S. I wouldn't say ally, but partner. So I mean, I'm not. I don't see Israel expanding into like, for example, Saudi Arabia. But I mean, like, what is
They
Iraq,
don't need. They
Iran?
don't need. I don't think they need to territorially. It's just more so as far as like influence is concerned. You don't need to actually take land physically.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to discussion. I haven't heard about this project before, but
Yeah, here,
when I think about problems in the Middle East, I'm not trying to shell for Israel. I'm just like I have legitimate criticisms about the a lot of regions in the Middle East. Like, for example, does Iraq provide a whole lot of global benefit in any way? Like, are they doing anything to what, or Afghanistan, for example? Like, is there a global benefit they're providing anybody over there?
Yeah, I think Israel is just sort of like the Middle East is like definitionally middle powers that, and now in a world of US and Russia and Chinese matching sort of power, we used to dominate, but now China and Russia match us economically, weaponistically or militarily. It follows to bring forth more middle powers, and the Middle East is a lot of middle power
Well,
concentrated.
he asked specifically about Iraq. So like, they're a key member of OPEC. So like they're like I think the fourth or fifth largest proven oil reserve. And then on top of that, like their energy output is
So
critical for global energy security. It's absolutely
is
critical.
oil it? Is
Uh,
oil it? Is oil all it is though? Is there any other kind of? I'm not
Well,
knocking the oil.
so
Oil is huge, but is there anything
it's
other
kind
than
of a big
oil?
deal.
they
Kind of a
also
big deal
have
though.
a ethno-religious goal there, an ideological goal there. And I'm rusty on this, but they have an ideological goal of, they think that land belongs to them entirely because of their interpretation of the Bible. And they want to rebuild the third temple. And they have an ideological proponent of that, of rebuilding the third temple and bringing forth the Antichrist. I know I'm saying this in such a way that sounds turbo schizoid and everything, so I am rusty on this. So it's like, how could I talk much about this? But I figure you got to start somewhere. But I'll just say, ultimately, the United States is getting dragged into a war that we don't need to be dragged into. And Israel, I mean, just as like a basic security measure, they want regional hegemony. If they have powers nearby that match them in nukes or something along those lines, it levels the playing field. And it's like, if you want to win, you have to, a way to win is to have more power. And I guess the win for them is the greater Israel, the rebuilding the third temple, and just overall economic dominance in the region, such that they could extract every semblance of oil and whatever else goes on over there.
But I'm just asking an honest question. Do you believe again, I haven't followed this as much as you guys may have, so I'm speaking from a point of ignorance, not skepticism. But um, with a lot of the normalization going on, do you believe it's insincere that they want to have peaceful relationships with the powers in the regions, or what's your take on that?
So you're asking, do I think that Israel wants peaceful relationships with powers in the region?
Yeah, like the Abraham Accords, like creating
I think
diplomatic relationships.
like look at the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So look at just research the settler colonies that they do and how they've been essentially pushing people out of their land just within that West Bank area. Like if you
So
research
what
it, so
about
it's
I'm so
that's
I'm
called
just
proof. That's called proof of
yeah.
concept. They've already
So
been doing that.
I'm a little torn on some factual information here. So when Israel extracted their own citizens from the settler locations to pull them out of it, I'm just trying to square away some discrepancy here. So when Israel removed their own people from settlements to take them out, like I'm just trying to get I'm just trying to get educated here of what
Well, I guess be more precise and tangible. Like, what are you
I gotta
referencing?
I'd have to look it up. They
Okay,
removed
go ahead.
I think it was from the West Bank or the Strip, whatever geographically it was called.
Yeah, you know why?
I
Probably because the way they do it is just so bad for publicity sometimes that you need to they need to strategically control the fire a little bit. But just look at the map of when Israel had its original formation to what it is today and how much land has been occupied over that time span. Of course,
Marchese,
I'll look it
of
up.
course.
I'll look it up because I don't want to come at this with ignorance.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I
okay.
do.
you,
I'm rusty
Yeah.
on this too, so
but no, because you have settlers that will shoot at children and shit like that. Of course, the
Well,
government's going to step in at a certain point.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
like I hope
if true
so.
that
I hope so. Like, if they're shooting at kids and shit, I hope the government's like, okay, this is looking crazy for the public. Let's at least last one some of these cowboys, so we don't look
Marquise,
like complete,
yes, sir.
you know, colonists.
Marquise,
yeah, I mean, if true, that's fucked up and shouldn't be happening. I am gonna research it real quick because I don't want to. I don't like coming across as ignorant. So I'm gonna research it. I believe they pulled their own settler. I believe they removed Israelis from their own home to scale back some territory, but I want to make sure that I'm being factual here.
Yeah, man. If they did, that's good because they need to. Like, there needs to be more of that. Like, because they treat it like the wild, wild west, where they could just go in and take over entire neighborhoods and civilizations of people who've been living there. So
Wartorn,
good.
you were saying my name earlier.
yeah, I don't know about anybody else, but I want to hear your schizoid rant about the Antichrist.
I mean, I just vaguely,
There's no way to talk about it without sounding like a schizoid. So,
I just like vaguely know that the part of the Jewish Greater Israel Project and everything, and part of their religious doctrine is something along the lines of rebuilding the third temple, and that's supposed to initiate some kind of ritual that summons what we call the Antichrist. They call the real Messiah. And that would usher in, according to our doctrine, that would usher in the end times. Because I think the
can
way
I
it
help you
goes
out real
is,
quick? Can I help you out
yeah,
real
go
quick?
ahead.
Because I have a biblical reference, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like in Genesis, I forgot which part of Genesis, but they mention from the Nile to the Euphrates, essentially. So when you talk about that in present day, what is that? That's Egypt, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. That's all of these places, right? So, but yeah, if you read Genesis, I think it's around like chapter 14, 15, something like that. Like that's essentially where a lot of that Zionist ideology is extrapolated from. But
Gotcha. Yeah.
all those countries that I listed is essentially part of that process, right? And yeah, there's all
Gotcha.
that lore that's tied into it, but I mean, that's here nor there, like when we're in the context of this conversation.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What
The
else?
que the question and the pertinent part is like that from um from the Nile to the Euphrates. Like that's the topic. Like that is the land that they're referring to, which is all these countries that we're talking about. I mean, in all fairness, though, Marchese, I'm not aware of any government faction of Israel itself that openly talks about it, right? Like in the Greater Israel Project. You know what I mean? That's more so like a you know, they haven't like publicly announced like, expansionist, efforts in that regard. It just seems to happen. It just
Yeah. Yeah.
slowly,
Yeah.
it, it just slowly starts happening.
Right.
Eh,
Yo, you said you were gonna delete this after it finishes, so we could just talk about anything, right? Because we don't know shit about what's gonna happen over there. So everybody here is religious, right? So what do you guys think about like what's gonna happen?
I'm agnostic, just throwing that up, but don't mind me.
Man, I mean, like, from my perspective, this is just my opinion, is that so much of this is a playbook, and they're playing on what is scripture. Like they're using it as like the dominant society, the dominant elite, whatever you want to call it. They're using the playbook. It's not authentic, that's always been my conviction, is that they're playing it out because people have already been mentally conditioned, so it'd be easier for them to accept it. But it's like I don't take anything at face value, to be honest. Like when they talk about the Antichrist, they talk about Jesus coming back, all of this. It's like they could just hang some guy from the sky and be like, "Look, it's Jesus." And so many of these fat, stupid evangelical people are like, "Yeah, it's Jesus," Like so, it's like I don't know, man. I think we're really far from it, to be quite honest. I think these are just evil people who are playing in our face and using scripture to do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. We have Gibson's back. Glad you
Hey
landed.
guys, how's the audio? Can y'all hear me or is it terrible?
It's a little rough because, it sounds like you're driving or something.
Yeah, yep. I'll dip in a little bit later when I'm parked.
Okay. We got Aragam here. Aragam, you're free to speak. I see you accepted the speaker point there, so feel free to jump in if you have anything you've thought of. I see you commenting and tweeting and everything. So, yeah, I'm rusty. Because you could watch all this stuff all the time, but then to actually dissect it, you have to take notes, and I haven't really had much of a time to take notes and everything. But yeah, this is so it's not that they're. So what's the ideology? So Caesar, could you run me through the biblical part again? Sorry.
No, I think War Tone was asking what our perspectives were from a biblical or spiritual perspective. They all seem to be relatively religious to a degree.
Yeah.
And I just gave my opinion. I'm not saying that's how it is. I just believe that evil people have taken scripture and they're playing out certain scenarios because they know that the masses will accept it. And they could accept it as prophecy, such as evangelical Christians have supported Israel, without question, year after year, because they use it. Evil people are using scripture in order to justify it. Same concept, like it's plug and play. It's like, okay, well, all these already indoctrinated the masses for a couple of 100 years on this, new wave Christianity. So let's just use this as a script and play in their face and justify all the evil wrongdoings that we're going to do. Call it Armageddon, call it this, call it that. Like, I don't know. To me, that's very straightforward, especially when you take into consideration the church's history,
You make
like the great schisms and all of
you
this,
make you make.
But that's my opinion.
I was gonna say you make some good points because Jewish people like to like twist the words of the scriptures on their head so like normies follow them. Like they skew them up and then they like subvert them and shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, and like Jewish people, but I think there's enough smoke to go around to everybody. Like even evangelical Christians, like here in the West, like they've done a huge disservice to everything that's going on right now as well. It's like brainwashing the boomers, brainwashing so many people to unapologetically stand with Israel because, those who stand with Israel will be blessed, right? So I think that's a grave misinterpretation of scripture from a theological perspective. This is why you have so many different denominations. This is, I think like Wartone was saying that even in Jehovah Witness, they have a completely different perspective of that. Those who come from the Orthodox tradition have a completely different interpretation of that. So it's like, but in the West, politically, it's been politically convenient to utilize that to mobilize consciousness behind on unapologetic and unquestionable support in Israeli
Yeah,
efforts.
you make some good.
So for me it's like any scripture up a culture political faction can take and essentially use it to create prophecy. We can create prophecy at this point with technology, with where we're at in the world technologically. You can manifest anything that's in that Bible. You really can. I know it sounds sick, but these sick people can do stuff that we can't even imagine. Why wouldn't they?
You make some good points, man.
The reason why it's so easy to convince the evangelicals to get on their side is exactly what you're talking about. Like you hit the nail on the head. Evangelicals, not all of them, because there's like, I don't know, I'm just going to be an idiot here because I'm too informed and I don't want to, bother with facts. But there's a bajillion different types of evangelicals. There's like one that's cool and actually believes in the Nicene Creed, and then all the rest are fucked, and they believe in this thing called dispensationalism. And dispensationalism is clearly fucking heresy, and I'll just break it down real quick. They believe that after the coming of Christ, there's supposed to be some specific age that dictates how they're supposed to behave. They think there are several of these ages that are supposed to come and pass, and that their behaviors, should kind of line up with what age they're in. Whether it be like, oh, this is the beginning of when it gets fucked up, and this is the middle, and this is the end. So none of them actually agree on what age we're in. So it raises the question, okay, well, first off, none of that's scriptural. Jesus didn't talk about these ages at all. Y'all made this up. Evangelical
Bingo. You're
Christianity.
so right, bro.
Evangelical
Oh my God.
Christianity was invented in the United States in the in the late 1800s, just like Baptists, and that's why they're fucked, and they don't base their shit on scripture either. They just make it up as they go. It's Christian inspired, but it's not actually Christianity. It doesn't matter how much stained glass they have. So they're all fucked, and they don't agree on what age we're in. So the question arises, okay, cool. Clearly this is heresy, but let's say you guys, there was some credibility. Do any of you know how to reconcile which one of you's right and which one of you's wrong, and then what that means about evangelicals in the big picture, right? Because you can't all be right if you guys all think we're in a different age, and then what does it mean, if you guys are all wrong except for one of you, and you all think that you might be the right one, but. So yeah, it's all fucked. It's not actual Christianity. They're the ones that have like the gay pastress, pastoral, lesbians saying, oh, we have to stand with like the fucking. They're the ones saying all that gay shit, and they're all like pro, immigration and all this shit, and they let women preach and all this shit. They just do whatever they fucking want because it gives them the feelsy goodsies, as Marchese says, and then. So it's really easy to get one over on them if you're a fucking Jew, because you're like, oh yeah, did you know, like, we're the chosen ones? And because they're fucking idiots and they don't base their religion on actual fucking scripture, they're like, oh, cool, really? And the Jews are like, yeah, really? Look at how much I'm telling you it's real. That's evidence. And they're like, oh shit, well, we're total idiots. We believe that. And they do. So the Greater Israel Project, look it up on your own time, bud. Like, no, and I don't mean to be rude. I just talk like this. Look it up on your own time, bud. Like, it's real. They're definitely trying to get as much room as they can. Proof of the pudding is in the eating. Israel didn't used to exist. And then we did this really weird thing where, we did World War II for the purpose of building the NWO, which is Israel, and then we built Israel. We were like, oh no, what do we do? Oy vey, where did they all go? Ugh. Well, guess what? They don't want to be in the fucking Middle East. Nobody does. It's a fucking shithole. Where they want to be is the United fucking States. And look at what they're doing to the United States in our politics. They're trying to get as much ground as they can and as much control over the U.S. as possible. Because once they have enough power in the Middle East, guess who's fucking next? Guess who's the next Gaza? The United States. They will fucking reduce the entire United States to rubble just so they can bulldoze it out of the way and rebuild it in the name of Israel. And that's
Dude, and
my
not to mention that, like, look at how hedonistic and anti-moralist, like, just that
sure.
place is, man.
Sure, and most Jews don't even study the Torah. They go off their Talmudic and Rabbinic Judaism, and the Talmud. Just to get a little further on my schizo rant, the Talmud is a response to the New Testament because Jesus, they were chosen, right? They always say they were chosen. Well, let's all start dogging on them when they fucking say this because I've had it. They're chosen to receive the word of Christ, and they did not receive the word.
And they didn't.
And they killed him.
Exactly.
He fed 500 people bread, 3 people got the message, and the other 490 were like, oy vey, but I'm gonna be hungry again tomorrow. What about tomorrow? Oh. And they just made grumpy Jew noises. That's how all the miracles go in the Bible. There's like 2 people that get it, and the rest just make grumpy Jew grumbling noises. And so, yeah, they don't go off morals, and so they want the United States. And this Talmudic thing, they were like, okay, well, people said, well, Jesus, what do we do with these old laws? And Jesus said, I'm not here to change the old laws. I'm here to tell you what you're going to do with your soul. Give to Rome what Rome is owed, give to God what God is owed. And, don't worry so much about the old laws because I'm providing you with a New Testament that reconciles all of the old laws in that I am all of the prophecies fulfilled. And he came through on that and then came back from the dead to be like, yeah, fucking see, I was right. And so, they
And base cautious Pilate washed his hands and said, hey, this is on y'all.
yeah,
This ain't on me.
exactly. I mean, that guy that stabbed Jesus in the side, that was the first convert. Blood and guts are raining down on him, and he sees God or whatever, and he becomes the first convert. But yeah, the Talmud is a response to the New Testament because they go, well, fuck, Jesus reconciled the Old Testament and he made it work. Like, look, Christians have the Old Testament connected to the New. Damn it. Oy vey, what are we going to do? Well, let's write this new thing called the
Well,
Talmud, and let's say Jesus is boiling in piss and semen in hell, and we'll
well,
go off this rabbinic Judaism, and this will be our New Testament to combat their New Testament. And so all Jews, regardless of whether or not they're religious, they're all on the same fucking side, so they are all religious. And some people say, well, there's Jewish atheists. And I go, okay, well, define
well,
Jewish. Yeah, that's fucking right. There's no Jewish atheists. They all believe in the demon worship. So, and that's again why they were chosen. People go, well, why would Jesus choose to deliver the news to them first? Because if he delivered it to anybody else, they'd go, yeah, message received, and the Bible would have been a lot shorter and nobody would have killed him for it, and it wouldn't have meant anything to anybody else. He said, no, the Jews know there's one God. They figured that out a long time ago, and yet they still continue to fall off and worship Baal and Moloch and all of that shit. So I really, these guys really need to hear it, and they're going to kill me for it, but that was all prophesied and we knew that was going to happen. So they got suckered into, exactly
they're
what we
talking
knew
about
they would do.
fucking triangle you. Did you hear me? I've been trying to talk for like 2 minutes and shut the fuck up. Okay,
Okay, I got you.
I was gonna say, I want to say something like really crazy. Cause the huge deviation is Jesus on this thing. So I think we should go back to what God represents truth and shit. Cause like, for sure, everybody is on different terms with the whole Jesus thing. No one's gonna come to terms with what he said or whatever. We have to go back to
Regardless, that's the one
what everybody agreed with.
Well, Jesus told the truth, and I know people don't want to, but again, let's go back to the miracles. That
No, I'm not
Jesus
saying
could
that.
have
No,
performed
hold
a
on.
miracle,
Like,
and people wouldn't get it.
yeah, like, I'm not saying, I'm saying we have to go back to what everybody agrees on. It's not that he said the truth or he lied. Nothing of that. I'm saying we have to
Well, here's the
come
good.
together. We have to come together to what each and every one of us agrees on. Every culture doesn't agree on the Jesus thing, but we can agree
Well,
on
every
the God
culture doesn't
thing.
agree that he's Christ, but everybody agrees with what he said, and I can ground this biblically or religiously by honoring every other religion in the world. Every other religion in the world acknowledges that Jesus is the Christ as he said he was, and that he was a prophet. Jesus said specifically, they're
Facts.
all liars. So if you have like one guy in a room and everybody in the room goes, that guy's pretty legit, and he goes, did you know all of them are liars? Which one would you believe?
Hey, and the other thing is that you even have you have ancient African religions that prophesize Jesus coming and actually acknowledge him as like the Son of God. Like that's legit. Like there's like legitimate West African societies that have said that. Like and they have it like through oral tradition that dates back like even 4,000 years, which is crazy when you think about it. And they're like, yeah, he's gonna come. And that's why you have so many people are like, oh, how come so many Africans, like the white man went down and converted Africans to Christianity? It's like, no, it wasn't that hard because that news was already baked into their ancestral traditions. We don't talk about that enough. We divide each other a lot, but like there's really common ground there, and they don't understand that. Like like in the Congo, they had the concept of Dikenga, and they talked about this. So when they actually went down the Congo, it was very easy to convince the prince at the time to accept this consolidated version of spiritual wisdom in the form of Christianity because they already had Dikenga, and Christianity was the missing component of Dikenga. So that's why you have a lot of fusion as well, which I know, there's a demonization to that. I get it, but I'm studied in this realm, it's part of my lineage. But that's why you got so many dark folks that they make very good Christians because this was prophecy in many different traditions.
This is
A lot of
why I
people think it
dog
was like,
on
okay, you're
people
just
who say
slaying.
that Christianity's not race first. Like, there's more important things than race first. And at what point do people think that maybe Africans are not allowed to be Christians? Like, it's not God's job to say total nigger death when there are Africans who can be Christians. That's clearly a secular thing of like internet racists would like that to happen, but I
That's man's
exactly, you're not
ego.
going to
That's
be
man's
see me
ego.
saying
Yeah.
TND because God can convert people God can touch people's souls and find Christians anywhere.
Well, yeah, that's what I find intriguing because people are like, okay, this white man went all over the world and enslaved people and forced them to Christianity. It's like, how do you not? Why are you also you're being racist by belittling these people and saying, how do you know that this wasn't the missing component to the human spiritual story, that this was
Well,
introduced
sadly,
and
they
they already
forget
had
that
these
Christians
prophecies?
often.
Go for
I'm
it,
sorry
Gus.
for I definitely
You're rubber
that
banding a
they're
little
we're
bit, I
not
think.
that animal. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you cut in and out a bit. War Torn.
I just find it fascinating, man. I just find it fascinating that so many like huge spiritual systems, like they have so many cross pollinations and prophecy, and that yeah, Christianity was the missing component. It was like the perfect puzzle piece that just fell into all of it, and that's why so many people, autochthonous people, dark people, whatever you want to call them, from all over the planet, they're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, duh. They're like, our ancestors have been talking about this for a long ass time.
Yeah, absolutely. War Torn, you got your hand up, so you go ahead.
Yeah, what I was saying is a lot of different cultures don't agree on that. I'm not saying if it's right or wrong. I'm trying to say we have to see each other in a place that we agree upon, because a lot of people believe that God is truth, and everybody believes that. There's deviations, like you said. They don't follow the same thing. They believe something different or whatever, but everybody agrees that God is truth, and everybody deviates on the Jesus thing. We have to see each other from an a perspective we can understand. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, he's real, he's fake. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we have to understand how the world works if we want to change the world. If we just keep talking about this or that or this is fake or whatever, we're not going to change anything. This is exactly the thing that Jews and other religions use against us. This is why we don't change anything.
Yeah, I think you're getting at the point of like, there are people who just go around and be like, it's like the meme of knocking on your door and like, do you have a moment to talk about Jesus today? The bringing people to Christ requires every combination of picking up on where they're at spiritually, posing the questions and the thought processes that really aren't, are more so just prompts for them to investigate themselves, and that's how you really bridge the gap. To your point, with understanding others, or speaking the language of those others of different sects, of different beliefs, of different versions of Christianity, and so forth. So, yeah, I got to do. Gibson dropped out for speaking. I did want to ask him real quick on the. I know he said to research it, but I didn't really give a good answer for the Greater Israel Project. I wanted to, so maybe Gibson, if you want to speak again on that, real quick, just a short, quick answer on the Greater Israel Project or the religious ideology component of it, by all means. And you don't have to make it fully comprehensive because you said research it. I got to dig more into it. So, floor is yours.
Oh, could you just repeat your question? I was just logging back in and it cut out for a sec, but I heard you say, "Hey Gibson." Could you just repeat your question?
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you. I know you said dig into it a little bit more with the Greater Israel Project, but can you give like the basic premise? Just because I didn't really give a good answer, the basic premise of the Greater Israel Project, rebuilding the Third Temple, and the ethno-religious incentives for them to carry out the operation they've been carrying out in the Middle East for the past year or two.
Yeah. So,
Gentlemen, I'm taking off. Have a good night,
Alrighty, my
okay?
God
friend.
bless.
It's a pleasure as
God
always.
bless.
Yeah, the Greater Israel Project, it certainly exists. Some people might not want to talk about it, but there's definitely It's not the kind of thing you can't Google and find. So that's cool. But I would say it kind of started with the existence of Israel, and then a really recent development that's pretty interesting is when we got involved with Ukraine.
Hmm.
That's part of the Great Israel Project as well.
Hmm.
This likely came to a head because that didn't work. Everybody got really mad when people started being really Jewy in Ukraine. And that one guy, the little dude that wears the sweatsuits and stuff, being a little sneaky kike, and public relations, everything went south with Ukraine because they were just they were extremely Jewy about it all. But that's part of the Greater Israel Project, where Israel would eventually end up in Europe. And once Israel is in Europe, Europe is fucked. So, yeah, and then just imagine that they're as established as they would like to be. They're of course going to try to expand into the United States as much as possible. I don't think they want to be in the Middle East. I think they want to get out of the Middle East. But yeah, as far as like their specific beliefs about their prophecies, they think that there is a Messiah coming.
Yeah.
And they denied that it was Christ because, he held them accountable and they didn't like that. And they said, no, 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 we need a warrior. And then they got Hitler and they really didn't like that either because he kept holding them accountable too. And it turned out they were the enemies, that Hitler would have saved everybody else from. So they were like, dang it. Okay. Well, maybe not him. So they're still trying to, summon their Messiah or whatever it is. And they do all kinds of weird blood rituals and stuff, trying to revive people. You can just kind of look into who they think are messiahs. And just to get biblical, when people ask Jesus, how do you know an antichrist, or how do you know a false prophet? Like how do we know to see these people? He says, well, the deal is, when a false prophet dies, he dies. And so that's something that the Jews have been really dealing with, and that's why they were doing those blood rituals in the
Hmm.
tunnels. As they stated, they were trying to revive some kind of rabbi. Or they're probably doing all kinds of weird shit down there, but they say they're trying to do blood rituals to revive a rabbi and bring about the Messiah. So it's not something they're shy about speaking of.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so you're saying that Ukraine was going to be a beachhead for their presence in Europe, and they really more so just want to get out of the Middle East. I thought I heard something along the lines of they're expanding in the Middle East as it stands right now, as every combination of like just more territory, more resources, but also something to do with like a rightful land ownership or something like that.
Yeah, and as evidence that Israel didn't exist before 40s, right? Israel didn't exist before World War II, and whatever. And we sent all of them, they created this problem with World War II that the whole world got involved in, and then, played the victim afterwards. So we kind of relocated them to the East. And that's not where they asked to be relocated to. That's where, basically like the powers that be were like, well, there's a lot of land out here. It's going to be a little hot. So my interpretation is they're tired of it. They want to go somewhere with better weather, where everyone's not trying to kill them.
Hmm.
And yeah, if things gone well in Ukraine, which they did not, we would be not having a session today. I think some of the events unfolding are because they weren't able to do that, and so they kind of have to force, expansion in other ways. But it's no secret that they want Israel to be bigger than it is, and evidence of that is that it didn't used to be there, and now it's there.
Right. Right. Yeah. I got to look more into the relationship between them and Ukraine. I knew there was something to it, but it was never really, I never really found anything that made it too clear. So I'll definitely look into that. So yeah, lots of good stuff. I think all the big crazy breaking news is sort of is in like the sorting phase right now. I'm gonna refresh. I think I should. I'm gonna close up shortly. Anyway, we've been going for a good amount of time, so let's see. IDF has blockaded the entire West Bank. Iran is preparing to deliver a harsh response. We got assessment presented in Netanyahu's Iranian response will occur soon. We had a couple of assassinations too. So big stuff here, but it seems to be, I'm sure it'll escalate overnight, but we're all going to be in bed or in some fashion resting up. So I'll end this up shortly, or I'll end this up. I guess I'll give everyone a moment to give any final thoughts. Start with you, Vermilion.
Yeah. I'm not totally familiar with the J question, so I'll abstain from that. But for as long as I've been looking at politics, probably 10 plus years, I think Iran really needs to have a change. I am a bit of a nihilist, so I'm okay with them being completely dismantled, regardless of consequences. They are a problem. It's a complicated issue because the West, Russia, etc., has been involved in the Middle East way too long, and there's been a lot of dominoes that have fallen over the past probably 5 decades, if not longer, in the Middle East, and I think a lot of unnecessary involvement there. So, that being said, I'm fine with Iran being dismantled. I think any kind of J question stuff can be addressed after, but I think Iran is a bigger problem at the moment. And I'm only saying that because I think, for my knowledge about J question stuff, about certain institutions being run by J's, I think that's a separate problem from immediate Middle East stuff. So I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that Iran just needs to be dismantled.
And that's fine,
Roger that.
like that's all good and that's all fine. But if you were to look into what the Jays, where you're like, I think those are separate problems, ask those Jays if they think they're separate problems, and they'll tell you they don't.
I mean, even if they don't, Iran is its own country and it causes plenty of problems. I think a nuclear Iran is going to cause far more problems than what we're dealing with at the moment. I think that at the minimum a nuclear Iran needs to be stopped. Like, I think a lot of tides are turning against J question stuff anyway. Like, I think the broader culture is turning against it as is. Iran is a separate issue. Like, you can separate the J question from the problems in the Middle East outside of Israel. Like, Iran on its own is a massive fucking liability. I think the current state of Iran needs to be dismantled, and I think the regime needs to be changed. Not in the way Iraq was, for example, but like whatever capabilities they currently have, I think need to be ended.
Absolutely.
Well, I would ask, how
Go ahead.
Iran came to be that way. The point in the 70s where, Iran, or the 60s and 70s when Iran was just like a beautiful place, and then things got really fucked. If you know any
Yeah,
Persian people
in
or
part
Middle
because of
Eastern people,
U.S. involvement. I don't agree with the U.S. involvement. They had leaders they liked.
last name U.S. involved were the last names of the U.S. people involved, Bergelstein and Scheckelberg. Yes, they were. So when you say it's a different issue, it's like people in the U.S. whose last names end in Berg and Stein have brought us into
Yeah,
like
I mean,
every
I
war.
don't think the U.S. should have ever done that overthrow of the. I'm losing track of acronyms at this point because there's so many. But the
Josh.
Whoever the U.S. helped overthrow to the current regime right now, the current whatever political party Iran has right now, I don't think that should have ever happened. They had a diplomatic, they had a democratic type government before, and I do know the U.S. had some involvement in destroying that. I don't think that should have ever happened. I just think the current governmental state of Iran needs to go. It's clearly on a death wish, not only for itself but the region. But I'm not excusing the U.S. I really think the U.S. should have fucked off on whatever regime change they did back when Iran had a peaceful society.
Absolutely. Gibson or Wartorn? I guess Wartorn, you go ahead for your final thoughts.
No, I don't have any final thoughts.
Um, Gibson, you go ahead.
Oh, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus Christ. Blessed art thou amongst women. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death.
Amen. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, I think I'll wrap this one up. It's Marchese Betty sleepy baby time. So I might monitor from my bed a little bit any updates here, and I'll see you guys on the timeline. Good stuff here, good info. Thanks you guys for showing up. Thanks for our new friend here, Aragam. I know you were a speaker. I don't know if you heard me calling you earlier. But good to have some new friends here, and we got Major X here. Major X is one of my buddies. Sorry, I haven't been inviting speakers and everything. I've been monitoring. So, alrighty, everybody, take care. God bless, and I'll see you on the timeline, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Later. Thank you.
Alrighty.